Goddess family. I'm Dev Hotep, the Goddess Astrologer and Life Coach. This is a Virgo full moon video. The Virgo full moon is happening on February 24th, 2024, and it's happening at 6:30 a.m. Central Time. That's 4:30 a.m. Pacific and 8:30 a.m. Eastern. That's 12:30 p.m. Universal Time. So this Virgo full moon is a reclamation of imagination. Our imagination, it is the sun having ingressed into Pisces, happening February 24th. So I'm recording this on Sunday, the 18th. And so a lot has went down, and we're going to get into that. This reclamation of imagination is the right use of our imagination, because our imagination has been hijacked for years by movies and entertainment and the patriarchy and the overculture. We've had the victim, villain, savior complex really acted out in movies. If you look at movies and entertainment, it's really murder and death and military and police and cop shows and detectives and really depraved sexuality, and constantly women being abused and that being acted out on the screen. This Neptune and Pisces is all about understanding truth from falsehood, and with Saturn here, society, it is this opportunity to reclaim our imagination. And so this full moon with Virgo, the moon in Virgo, and the ruler of this full moon in Mercury in Pisces, in this already having the moon come off the opposition to that Mercury. This is this, right use of our imagination, using our imagination to create the world that we want to exist, and knowing that we all live in very different realities. And so all of those who are awakened, all of those who have have this reclamation of the sacred feminine, have dismantled the patriarchy, or on the journey somewhere of the deconstruction of the patriarchy within our own psyche, soul, externally within our life and our behaviors and the way that we behave, what we tolerate, what we allow to be in our life. In all of these ways, we are reclaiming our imagination to create the world that we want to see, because this is this beginning of the Aquarian age. We are midwifing the Aquarian age. We are the ancestors to the generations that will come behind us, really living fully in the Aquarian age, where we are midwifing it right now. And there's no one marker that says here's the delineation where the Aquarian age starts, but there's so many things that really are corroborating that we are absolutely midwifing the Aquarian age. This is the return of light. There's so many of us that are in the higher dimensions that are expanding our consciousness, our concepts, our understanding, returning to this living in communion with natural law, meaning divine law, harmony with the cosmos, the earth, nature, the way things should be, light, the moon, the planets, the energies, and within our own intuition and instinctual nature. So our instinct is the body, and our intuition is our emotional world and our understanding. And so is the spiritual knowing, and the instinctual is the body's knowing. And so let's go into some of the astrology for this Virgo full moon. So this is the Virgo full moon here, 5 degrees and 23 minutes. The sun has just made its conjunction to Fomalhaut at the time of this full moon. So the sun has talked to fixed star Fomalhaut here, and has made this had this conversation with Fomalhaut, made this conjunction to Fomalhaut. Fomalhaut is this fixed star of sacred feminine energy, this wise energy, this energy full of humility. And humility comes from experience, from wisdom. Wisdom meaning that you have knowledge and you've learned things, but it's not just having knowledge and concepts, but it's actually experientially having learned as well. And so thus comes this humiliation. and not being in this hubris, not being in this egoic, superior type of perception and interaction with all of life, other people, yourself, and your life. So the sun has had this conversation. The moon has been in this opposition to Fomalhaut and now is at the 5-degree mark. Fomalhaut's at 4 degrees. And so there's been this huge suffusion of this energy and of more information, more awakening, more provocation of the feminine within all of our psyche to awaken, to keep deconstructing the patriarchy, which is no good for any human. It's the patriarchy, as I've mentioned before, it's not white men. That's just a costume that it used to come in. But the patriarchy is narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths, about 15% of the population. There's a whole other 85% of the population. However, with the other 85%, there's a percentage of that population. There's those of us who are awakened and evolved over here and on the journey. There's people who are kind of playing around in the spiritual world, but they're not really doing inner work. And it's kind of like, I don't know, it's a good rabbit hole to go down, but not at this moment. And then there's a whole swath of the population there's not really can be swayed by that 15% of the population, swayed by the patriarchy, sold the mechanistic materialism way of life, sold, keeping up with the Joneses and buying all the material possessions and doing status and doing superiority and all of these things. But there's a huge part of the population that's individuating, not necessarily spiritually awake, but individuated. And so there's this spectrum, but those of us can be these examples for the rest of the 85% that can easily be swayed by that 15%. And so that's what why we want to make sure we're doing our work, why we want to really do the inner work on imposter syndrome or our impediments, our blocks, the things that hold us back from shining our light, from doing our own inner healing work. So this wisdom of intuition and instincts, our higher inner knowing, there's this quieting down with the sun at the time of this full moon, having gone into Pisces, out of all that Aquarius energy. There's Mercury again also having moved into Pisces out of all that Aquarius energy. And so there's this quieting down of all that high Aquarian, cerebral, information filled air energy that we just had injected into our life, into our mind, into our psyche, our consciousness. The sun moved into Pisces on the 19th. So that'll be Monday from the day I'm recording this on a Sunday. So Monday. And that will be and so tomorrow, Monday, the 19th, the sun will be nearing that conjunction with Fomalhaut. So from the 19th, on towards this full moon is this injection of sacred feminine and suffusion, this conversation between our purpose, our ambitions, our sacred mission, what we're here to do, our confidence, our sense of ourself, our ability to stand up on stage in our life and our business. All of that realm is having this conversation with this wise and humility filled and sacred feminine energy. And so this is happening. And on the 19th, this is also the day of the exact conjunction of Chiron and the North Node. And we've been in that energy for a while. We have been in that energy since really the week of Christmas. And so one of the things about all of this Mercury and at the time of this full moon, this Mercury and the Sun energy in Pisces, and so having 4 planets now in Pisces, Mercury, Sun, Saturn, and Neptune, we can emotionally integrate after. At the time of this full moon, we'll be able to emotionally integrate after this stellium in Pisces finally will have less air and this ability to emotionally integrate. And then with this Virgo energy to kind of analyze more correctly and put things into their place. All of the insights and epiphanies and the advanced forward movement that we've had with all of that flood of Aquarius energy coming in, we can actually resolve what is arising within us, going towards ever greater autonomy and sovereignty and independence from the patriarchy. This conjunction of Chiron and the North Node, that's our autonomy, that's our sovereignty, that's our independence, that's our courage to be our own unique self instead of conforming and twisting ourselves into a pretzel to be what other people want and people pleasing. And that is, no longer being a daughter of the patriarchy, but dismantling that within our psyche and without in our physical lives, in the way that we live. And so on the 19th, when we have this Chiron North Node conjunction, we have been feeling this energy of Chiron and this applying of the North Node really applying to this conjunction to Chiron ever since Christmas time. And so we've been feeling this energy. Chiron is the wounded healer. Chiron is the centaur, the half human, half animal, meaning that it defies identification. It defies this black and white, definite definition of what it is. It determines who it is. It has an independence. It has a renaissance amount of wisdom and mastery over many, many, many arts and crafts and abilities and talents and gifts. Chiron is wildly gifted at medicine and plant knowledge and building of all different kinds, archery, gardening. There's so many medicine. There's so many different things that Chiron is skilled at. It's a person who is a Renaissance person. It's a woman who's a Renaissance woman who has many, many, many talents and abilities and who has mastery with many, many, many things. And I know so many of you out there have had these lives where you know so much, you have done so much, and you have lots of mastery. And it's really, it's about this autonomy and this independence. And the themes of the wounds with Chiron being in Aries is around being seen, visibility, and the fear of being seen. This whole introvert and human design and astrology being used as an excuse to not be seen and deal with the wounds of being betrayed or embarrassment or how other people see you, all of those wounds, all of those maladaptive ways of coping with that, instead of actually growing confidence. Confidence is a muscle that you grow, just like exercising is something you have to practice at and work at, and that if you don't work at it and practice it and do it, then you will lose that muscle and become out of shape. And the same is true with confidence. It's something that you have to keep working on and working at and doing in your life. It's not something that you maintain unless you are doing it. And this is this Aries, confidence, assertiveness. The other themes of Aries are autonomy and sovereignty and independence. And, you know, we're talking about your ability to own your boundaries, to speak your boundaries. People may not respect them, but you speaking them, you needing to then take action when people don't respect them, you upholding your own boundaries by taking action. When you've said you've had enough with somebody and they're not respecting that, then you need to move towards what's right for you to respect your boundaries. And, you know, speaking your needs, asking for your needs to be met with other humans instead of doing weird types of communication where you don't really actually state what you need, or state your no, or tell somebody that you're actually canceling, and you ask a question, can we just not do this, or what have you, instead of saying, I need to cancel. I've got something else going on, or I changed my mind, or I don't want to. You know, like, can you speak your needs? Can you state your yes and no? And this has been up in the collective so heavily, and particularly since South Node and North Node went into the Aries Libra dynamic in July, here until January of 2025. And so the other themes are your boundaries. The other themes are assertiveness and confidence. You know, when you haven't been assertive, you can feel like you're being aggressive. When you haven't been confident, it can feel like you're being arrogant. Other people might tell you that and admonish you when you're working hard and being vulnerable to stand up in new confidence and new assertiveness, and you might believe them. And that's a dynamic that you might have to deal with. And so that's why it's so important. I so encourage you to get coached, you know, get the support on the journey. My clients have such fantastic support, and they learn the skills to be able to help themselves in any given moment and solve any problem when they work with me in one-on-one coaching in my 6-month coaching program. You know, some other themes are identity, knowing who you are, having a clear identity, not blending in with everybody else and being bland and like wearing all monochrome clothes or all beige and just blending in with everybody and not having any self-modification or a unique who you are-ness. You know, there's a lot of that in the world. People don't really have their own identity and don't really realize it. They just became the suburbia people, became the, you know, the housewife, became the, you know, the falling in line, towing the line of the patriarchy, doing the program of this is what you're supposed to do, career and family and kids and retirement and death, and this is the way you live, this is what life supposedly is, and just don't have, you know, their own like drive. And because Aries is a drive. Aries is believes. Aries is vulnerable but gets back up. Every time Aries gets knocked down, it just believes. It believes it can do it. It roots on for other people. It really cares about the underdog. It cares about people who have less and aren't doing as well in life, and it roots for others to succeed, and it's a leader and it leads. And so since last December and Christmas time, you know, this has been really playing out in the collective. Ego issues in the world, really heavily damaged egos, and how they retaliate against perceived threats. That's really been up in the collective since December. February 11th, we were really feeling this conjunction a lot more because it was getting closer and closer. And Mars was balsamic to Pluto at that time. And so Mars, nearing that Mars-Pluto conjunction that just happened on Valentine's Day, there, you know, is this, you know, Russia talking about nuclear war and people dead all over the country, you know, a bloom of deaths and more war talk and more weapons talk, and so much going on. And so, and then you have like Aries, the ego, and then already it's always going to involve the ego, right? With the nodes, it's the ego, the moon. You know, it's our emotions and all of that. And so these are emotional lessons. And And so all of that has been really up in the collective. And then on the 19th, this is when this conjunction between the North Node and Chiron is exact. We usually feel it really heavily way up until the exact moment. The exact moment isn't necessarily the most intense point. It's like where it's like technically it would be, but then it's going to start coming off of that intensity. So it's really like rising up to it, you know, and then it's this peak moment, but then it's going to ease off. But it's all of that pressure building up to the moment. It's all of that time is all of this energy. So since Christmas, we've been feeling this, and this is the moon. So this is deeply within the collective psyche. This is deeply within our deep subconscious and our most wounded places around all of these themes I just talked about. So, you know, so we've been flooded with this cerebral Aquarius energy. With the stellium of the sun. And let me just move this chart to where are you at? So the stellium of Aquarius energy that we've had, you know, February 16th is this particular day. It was Friday before I'm recording this. We've had all this extreme Aquarius energy, so high cerebral energy, lots of air energy. It's lots of mind and air energy flooding into us. You know, we had the sun and Mercury. We have all the inner planets, Mercury, Mars, and Venus. And then we have Pluto and the sun. It's like the alpha and omega of our solar system, of our reality, right? Of being here on planet Earth, the sun to Pluto. And then one of the rulers of Aquarius, Saturn, is an impressionistic, watery Pisces. The other ruler being in manifestation and building and growing, Taurus, but also status quo, Taurus, what has already been. And so people have not been able to take that air stellium of all that Aquarius energy and cohesively, succinctly communicate. People overtalk, they're hyper loquacious, they've been that way. So kind of look to the last few weeks and you can see that maybe with yourself and others. Others, you know, are having their brilliance and their ingenious being activated in fierce creativity. We have the other ruler of the Aquarius planets being in Taurus, which is this fecundity and this creativity and this building and growing energy. And so people are more outgoing and social with all this Aquarius energy, especially since Pluto's moved into Aquarius. People want to talk, people want to get out there, people want to be with others and be social and do social things. Aquarius is also particular. What makes us all, you know, more difficult for people to get to the point of this complex air energy, like knowing exactly what point to make with this flood of energy. It also, this particularness makes people kind of fixed and kind of stuck, not able to let things flow. And so there's, you know, this palpable acceleration on the planet that's been going on. You can feel this acceleration. You can feel this futuristic, you know, quantum multidimensional energy happening and flooding the planet. People want to also make things real right now, make their ideas real, with Uranus ruling Aquarius and being an earthy manifestation sign of Taurus. So if you have been wanting to dig into your personal astrology, you know, understand the signs that are active. We all have all 12 signs within our personality, our life, ourself, our natal chart. If you've been wanting to dig into that and find out more about you and how all the 12 signs are active and either playing out shadow or the high conscious expression and how you can use them advantageously in your life, I really encourage you to come join us in my online women's retreat called Healing Through the ZODIAC. It is powerful. We meet every Tuesday. There are replays, and it's incredibly low price. So if you want to come join us, that's empoweredwomenrise.com. That's empowered women, plural with an E, and rise just 4 letters.com. So come join us in that. And I really appreciate it if you can throw a like down on this video, if you're digging this, you know. So the yearly Sun-Pluto conjunction happened. That was on January 20th. Then we had the Mercury-Pluto conjunction happen on February 5th, and Mercury having finally moved into Aquarius energy out of that Capricorn. And so much more clarity was coming in after Mercury had went through that Sag Capricorn retrograde, and then out of shadow in January, and then finally went into Aquarius February 5th, and then conjunct Pluto. And so that energy, it's just been all of the planets, one after the other, the inner planets and the sun moving into Aquarius, and then communicating and having a conjunction with Pluto. And so if you have eyes to see, you can see how all the new beginnings birthing all over the place. Conjunctions are new beginnings. It's the new cycles. And so the Aquarian age is here. We are midwifing the Aquarian age. We are the ancestors to the people that are coming behind us that will be living in the Aquarian age. And not because of some, one aspect, not because just Pluto went into Aquarius. There's so many markers going on that tell us and indicate this. And astrology is also correlation and observation, so we can look out into the world and see what is happening. Just 4 or 5 years ago, the words PTSD, were relegated to veterans still. Now, all over the world, people understand that PTSD is everywhere. People have it everywhere because of car accidents or abuse, or trying to heal from abuse, and then they develop it because all of a sudden they're flooded with trauma that was repressed. There's so many reasons why people develop PTSD. So many people are dealing with complex PTSD and different things, and there's so many answers. And so just 4 years ago, that was a word that had so much kind of different connotation than it does today. It's more widely accepted and understood just in the last 4 years. So much has shifted. Also, the word like emotional labor, people know what that is now, and people are understanding that. I mean, there's a great book that came out about it. I encourage you to check that out. But also, it's just been in the last 2 years that has bloomed, that people understand, like, oh my God, we have been discounting and not caring and understanding emotional labor that goes into things, and that women have largely been the ones doing the emotional labor of the world. And so that has hugely changed in just the last 2 years. There's so much that has shifted, and so much that has gone on. And so this ability to discuss and understand this platonic death, I know this happened on the 5th and we're talking about it now, but the reason why is because it harkens to exactly what this full moon is about. And so this Mercury-Pluto conjunction, Mercury is the ability to understand, to discuss, to identify. Mercury is about identification. Once you identify it, it's step 1 of my 3-step emotions process that I teach all my clients learn. And when you identify it, then you can work with it and resolve it. It's no longer nebulous. It's no longer abstruse. And so this plutonic, this Mercury-Pluto conjunction is the ability to finally discuss and understand and identify the plutonic death and rebirth of the feminine process of expansion and evolution that's taking place on the planet right now. And for women particularly, but within all of humanity, because the feminine is not just within women. Of course, I think most of you understand this by now, but it's within the world soul. It's within all of humanity. Patriarchy is horrible for any person. And again, I talked earlier in the video about what patriarchy actually is, that it's not men. And I keep wanting to bring that narrative out there because it's so important for everyone to understand that. Because when you understand that, you get what we have been through in this world and what we are awakening from. And so the labyrinth, I'm going to share this with you. The labyrinth comes from Minoan Crete, her story, and that's where it derives, the labyrinth. And the labyrinth is, we think that Minoan Crete is the last pre-patriarchal culture that we're aware of today, that we actually have remains of and is still intact in ways, because the patriarchy tried to destroy every trace of feminine empowerment and non-patriarchal culture in life. And so when you look at the labyrinth, the whole thing about a labyrinth is that it's about going into, and I don't want to take the time from you to just like go trace this properly so you can see how it goes into the center. But if you've ever walked a labyrinth, you know that every part of it, you eventually enter to the center. And the going from the outside to the inside is about the death process, the undoing of ourself, of our reality, of what has come before. And our first Saturn return is very much this process of undoing our realities. That's why for some people it's not a big deal. For others, it's a huge deal, because you can't really help Saturn and work with Saturn if you don't even know what reality that you're imbued into, that you are adhering to, until it's deconstructed and you can see something else, right? And so that's why sometimes a Saturn return is so crazy challenging, is because your whole reality is being dismantled. All the structures, Saturn, of your world externally and within your own psyche, your beliefs and ideas about life and concepts and structure, like mental structures of life, are being broken down for something new to be birthed. And so this shows us that there's this deconstruction from the inside to the out of beliefs and behaviors and constructs and patterns. It's the undoing of what, if we stay, will no longer allow us to grow. And no longer allow us to grow into the expansion of our own possibilities, until finally we make it into the center of the labyrinth. And the labyrinth is such a sacred feminine symbol. And so finally we make it into the center and into this truth. And it's this birth. It's also that, before the rebirth, it's this death, it's this purge, it's maybe feeling like you're having an exorcism, it's all of those things. So when you're experiencing this death and rebirth where everything is breaking down, you feel like you're falling apart and losing all of your grip on reality, realize what you're in, that you're in this natural feminine process of dismantling and deconstructing what is not serving your growth and your deepest expansion into the sacred feminine, into that connection with natural law, divine law, way of living in life, connection to the celestial and goddess Mother Earth, and into what is natural and holy and sacred. And so it's this journey from the center out is all about that rebirth into our greater sacred feminine truth, greater connection to your intuition, to your emotionally centered self, guided in your life from your feminine spiritual values rather than from the value system of the patriarchal overculture. This is your rebirth, no longer a daughter of the patriarchy, but owner of your own self, your own woman's heart. And, Uranus in the sign of Taurus, Earth Mother, Uranus about individuation in the sign of the Earth Mother. It's this, and Taurus is this fecundity, this abundance, this prosperity, a woman's prosperity, individuation of our prosperity from some corporation or having to work for somebody to have Taurus, your basic Maslow's hierarchy of needs met, you know, and also your creative fecundity to build and grow and to create and to be wildly creative and wildly empowered, and you know, this Aquarian energy, like creative, and you know, Leo is that opposite. It's that polarity. It has to be integrated, that both energy. And Leo is about taking your will to create your destiny. Remember, we have to work with the 12 signs in a holistic context. And that is what Pisces is. And that's a reminder at the time of this full moon as well of that. And so that energy of going from the center out is this, you know, boundless and brilliant bursting Aquarius forth of you, you know, the medicine that you are meant to bring to this needing to heal world. Taurus is healer, and it is that earth medicine, and it is this balm that you have within you, your gifts and talents and abilities and resourcefulness, Taurus, that you have within you, that is a balm for someone somewhere. And so there has been show you this chart and get this Virgo up here. What are we on, the 5th lunar? And so this Virgo ruled by Mercury and Pisces in this Pisces stellium right here, Virgo full moon. Finally, out of, you know, we finally have 2 planets out of the luminary of the sun and Mercury out of the buzzy air energy, that quantum energy, and all that downloading of so much information just to say something really simple to your friend that you're going to get a new place to live or something like that. It's like paragraphs and essays, and you just like can't get your thoughts together, right? Like if you look at the last couple of weeks, that's how it's been. So this Virgo and Pisces energy, you know, it's the healing axis about healing. It's this impressionistic, dreamy, imaginative Pisces energy, connected to the sacred, connected to the sacred feminine, connected to the greater meaning for our lives, the deeper meaning of our lives, connected to what is meaningful, what is the ultimate meaning, something that is spiritualized. That's the ultimate meaning, transcendental value system, something that is, you know, our purpose is about something higher, not materialism, not this mechanistic bullshit world disconnected from nature being the divine, that like even nature was disconnected from the divine, just like we were disconnected from soul, you know, matter was disconnected from spirit. And that's the whole thing with this full moon, is Virgo is matter, Pisces is spirit. Virgo is the tangible and Pisces is the intangible that emanates into the material world and makes anything exist in the tangible material world at all. None of it would ever exist without the invisible spiritual energy of Pisces. Pisces is the alpha and omega because it's where we go back to, but it's also from where we come, right? If you take the zodiac in as a whole, and if you come into healing through the zodiac, my weekly online women's retreat, you will go deep into the signs in this way that you can practically use them in your life and understand your own makeup of the 12 signs within yourself and why you have these energies and not others, and et cetera. And it will be so beautiful. And you can join us by going to empoweredwomenrise.com. There's a banner at the top of the page. And so this right use of our imagination, Pisces, our imagination, and Virgo, the ability to be orderly, to get shit accomplished, to get shit done, to make things tangible in the world. It's an earth sign. It's highly adaptable and highly malleable. Both this axes is adaptable, mutable signs. And so Virgo can adapt and move and flow with the things, but yet it likes to have a calendar and order and cleanliness in place. And I'm not talking about Virgo people, I'm talking about the archetype of Virgo, because you have Virgo people that aren't orderly and clean. So, you know, and it depends on where the Virgo is at in their planets, but let's, you know, talk about the Virgo archetype. And so this right use of your imagination, creating worlds and content that uplifts and inspires and encourages people. And so this and so the ruler of this full moon, Mercury, is in this conjunction to sacred feminine fixed star Fomalhaut. So there's so much sacred feminine suffusion of energy into the world during this full moon. There has been during this time with the sun conjuncting and talking to Fomalhaut and all of the inner planets, Venus, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, after having that connection to Pluto and our deep subconscious material that is coming up and surfacing and purged up to be healed. Then there's the planets all conjuncting Fomalhaut to reclaim that connection to this wise, humility-filled, sacred feminine energy of purpose and mission and higher meaning of life. Venus is square Jupiter, and Mars is square Jupiter as well. And so at the time of this full moon, and it's been applying for the week leading up to it, for the few days leading up to it, and that Venus square Jupiter is going to be exact on at 10:01 p.m. Central Time later this day after the full moon. So the full moon happens at 6:30 in the morning, and then by 10 at night Central Time, Venus will be in that exact square to Jupiter. So it's been applying and it's been growing in intensity. So it's intense at the time of this full moon. And what is that about? You know, it's the feminine Venus wanting to individuate Aquarius from the old status quo, you know, religious ideology and the old patriarchy and the old ways. You know, Jupiter is the religious ideology. Jupiter, the negative shadow side of Jupiter is dogmatic and righteousness, intellectual righteousness and religious righteousness and moralistic value system. And it is that old world, you know, it is that old world square to the individuated feminine. And so it means tensions in the world around these dynamics. So be aware of this happening. And Mars, the square here, you know, again, like Mars is our taking action in the world. So taking actions in the world to actually individuate, meaning conversations, not tolerating things anymore, working for ourselves, having independence, no longer being in relationships that, you know, don't allow for your individuation or your sacred feminine truth. Just all of these ways that we're no longer tolerating the old ways, people that are still towing the line of the patriarchy, there's tension, there's friction, and also there's friction within yourself of breaking free from those, because of also understand that Taurus is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Taurus is your basic living, you know, shelter, food, water, clothing. And so also to have that, you know, it's square your individuation. Do you have to give up your individuation and greater liberation and freedom to have that? Or can you have both? You know, there's this tension going on between this, and this isn't going to last for very long, but there is this tension going on between this right now. And it could mean, you know, difficulty. The other thing to understand about squares is for some people, this is really breaking open stagnation that has gone on for a really long time in any of your Taurus type areas of life, which is your material world. It is your money world. It is your living and how you live and your food, shelter, clothing, all of those things. So this could be stagnation finally opening up for you. And so finally some new liberation coming in. but it's a square, so maybe not in the exact ways that you want, but there's some breaking open. The other thing about squares is it's, you know, provoking growth and change and provoking healing, and humans just don't choose to go do that for themselves. People do not change, grow, and heal because they want to. We either have an evolutionary compulsion within us, we either are forced into it by our circumstances, or the pain of not doing so has become greater than the pain of doing so. And then we will finally change and grow and heal. And so this is also a part of this square going on. And so that exact square for Mars will be after this full moon on the 27th. And Virgo Pisces, you know, it's about the invisible and the invisible. I was talking about that dynamic. And we also have, at the time of this full moon, we have Juno relationships, and how we're complacent in relationships and what we like in relationships. And we have Lilith about equality in relationships, being willing to be demonized and outcasted and actually tortured to stand up for equality within relationships, or no, I'm not going to allow you to have access to me and be in a relationship with me if you don't want to do equality. You know, she stood up for equality and egalitarian ways of living life. And so they're conjunct in Virgo about making it a reality, and opposite to Saturn. And this moon is an applying opposition to Saturn, and it's going to hit that opposition later this day after this full moon. And so afterwards, then it's going to go talk to Saturn in this opposition to try to integrate things to make it reality, because Saturn's about the structures of our society and our world, and the structures of our imagination, you know, being the scaffolding and the bones upon which the rest of it is built, you know, the foundation of the house that we build the rest of the house upon. And so this Virgo about making it real and making reality and being able to put things together and make things happen, and being orderly and organized and together and executive function, you know. And so this is also the psychic realms and the energetic realms of Pisces, all of our psychic gifts and information, and the Virgo the Virgo making it real. And this is a healing axis. So there's much to be healed, much to heal in our energetic world. So many people don't understand about, you know, you need to have a way to be clearing yourself energetically daily, just like you take a shower. If you don't take a shower for 2-3 days, you start to get a bacterial infection. If you let it go for too much longer, it become, you know, gangrene, and you start losing things, body parts. So just the same way, energies that we might collect that are depression energies or dark energies or whatever are no big deal, as long as we're taking that daily shower and we're doing maintenance and we're learning that psychic energetic realm more and more and more. And, you know, with Saturn here, you know, society is waking back up to that truth and that knowing of that realm and that world. That was always true, that it is who we are at the core, right? And you know, we're reawakening and remembering. And so just the same way, we need to take that energetic shower, you know, every day to keep out those energies that are not a big deal, as long as we're dealing with them and clearing them and working with that psychic energetic realm. But they become a big deal when we just let them sit there. They affect our mind and our thoughts, and they lead our thoughts to go down back alleyways and negative thoughts and, you know, existentialism and hopelessness and victimhood and despair and not good enough types of thinking, all because we have energies glommed onto us that we don't know how to clear, or we're not clearing. So you want to get into this world and make sure you're learning those skills, and Sage isn't going to do it alone. Like, you want to learn an energetic system to clear for yourself, to clear yourself and be able to start learning energetic boundaries. And if people are entering your energies and messing with you and trying to take your energy and different things like that, you want to learn this realm. You have to realize that as AI becomes, you know, grows in sentience, meaning that understanding and emotional intelligence and like becoming alive, basically, as AI grows in sentience, we need to navigate this world with our intuition and our instincts, not, and a lot of you out there confuse your wounds and your fears and your traumas and your self-doubt and your, just all of the psychic energies that you're feeling when you go out into the world and you haven't learned that realm. And so you don't know how to deal with it. And it's really overwhelming for you. A lot of you are using all of that as a way to let me just go back to this chart to grab my thought here, because this is really important. I want you to hear this. A lot of people are using that as an excuse. And we just want to be real about it, but a lot of you are conflating your wounds and all of those things for your intuition. It's not your intuition, it's your fears, it's your self-doubt, it's your feeling of not good enough, it's your fear of going into the world and all those psychic energies you're feeling and you needing to learn that psychic energetic world. And so don't confuse your fears and self-doubt and and all of that for your intuition. Really different things. Your intuition will tell you no or yes, but a lot of you are saying no to great things because it's your fear and your wounds and your traumas. So that's a really important thing that the collective is wrestling with right now. And this is also something that's up in this dynamic because it's this healing axis of Pisces and Virgo. So the tangible and the intangible, transcendental value, divine love value system, a value system that's spiritualized. There's the individuated, like in evolutionary astrology, we have something called evolutionary condition. And I don't really talk to clients about it, but you hear me teaching this all the time because it's a great lens to look through to understand the world, to understand people and why they do what they do, think what they think, why they're acting the way they're acting, like why they're looking at the world through that way. It's because of evolutionary condition. You can look through this lens and understand like, because there's a big difference between an individuated person and a spiritually awake person. A spiritually awake person might not be individuated. They might be consensus status quo. Also, an individuated person is not necessarily spiritually awakened. So we can't conflate these things. It's just the same as like, we don't want to conflate benevolence with consciousness. A lot of conscious people are very malicious and malevolent. So we want to be aware. So there's this concept of evolutionary condition that I've talked to you about where there's these 3 states, there's 4, but let's just not get into the weeds. There's 3 states of evolutionary condition: consensus, individuated, and spiritualized. And there's a very few percent of the population that's spiritualized, like a Joan of Arc or Mother Teresa or Gandhi. And also it can be on levels of like the everyday average person that you don't think of, but they are spiritualized rather. And then there's individuated where it's like very in the intellectual mind realm. So on the map of consciousness, it's going to be in the 400. So it's the 4D realm. It's not really that higher 5D realm. It's really in the world of intellect and science and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't mean it's bad or wrong. I'm just saying, like, just because you're individuated doesn't mean you're spiritually awakened or spiritualized and working for something that's better, that's higher for all of humanity and for the greater, higher, deeper meaning and purpose, right? Something sacred. You may be working for something better, but not necessarily for something spiritual. And this, unfortunately, can be very much, working for materialism and the mechanistic worldview. And then there's the consensus, state of humanity of somebody's soul. And that's most of the population. So it's such a great way to understand things that are going on. So this Mercury is in a septile to Eris Xena. And a septile is this otherworldly, spiritual energy or eccentric energy, individuation energy. Aries in and of herself is individuated outside of the status quo, really cares about sisterhood, cares about being a leader. She's courageous. And we all have her in Aries about autonomy and being courageous and assertive, owning your no and yes, speaking your boundaries, asking for your needs to be met, going out there on the adventure, initiating, taking action, being bold, being fierce, warriorous, and not afraid, and being willing to face the feelings of vulnerability you may have, to be out on the adventure of life. And the septile is this otherworldly energy coming in of courage and connection to sisterhood, the network of Aquarius, the invisible web, and you know, the network out there, Aquarius, the invisible web, Pisces, of awakened, evolved, sacred feminine women in the world is growing and increasing. And it's, you know, this most intense point of this square happening between Venus and Jupiter. So we have this, you know, this intensity of women all across the world awakening and evolved and healing, and have been, and so many women have been awakened for a really long time doing the work, and more women are, and all of us around the world are connected. And there's this tension of the old status quo and the religious ideologies, and women breaking free. Aquarius, you know, it's this breaking free, it's this individuation in the good sense, and this integration of spirit, Pisces, and matter, Virgo. And Venus, you know, square matter, Taurus, matter, the earth, and Venus, this higher, you know, quantum, ethereal place, you know, quantum expansion, radical rebellion to the old way, uncompromising. You know, Aquarius energy is a fixed air sign. It's not compromising, it's complex, and it's particular, and it's strong-willed. It has its own way, and it will fight for that and tell you what it is. And so Mercury, the ruler of this full moon, is sesquisquare the south node. And, you know, there's a purge of the shadow, integration of the shadow for some people, a resistance to the shadow for other people. It's a sesquisquare, it's a hard aspect, it's challenging, it's tensions and pushing, it's provocation for growth, but it's growing pains that are difficult to go through, things not feeling good. You're trying to work on your projects, and then you're dealing with all this stuff coming up from within that you've got to really handle and face. Otherwise, you're going to suppress it and make the shadow bigger. You know, this is kind of to where you want to be. Like, you're trying to shine, you're trying to move forward in life, and there's these old things that need to be dealt with that are coming up, but they're coming up to be healed, they're coming up to deal with, and they're not easy to deal with. So this could be some emotions and challenge and difficulty, and just be aware of that, and that's okay, you know. Also, you know, this trine to from the south node simultaneously to Venus. Venus is the relationship to ourself and to others, and accepting the shadow within ourselves, accepting what's going on. You know, the thing about this is Mercury is trying to communicate, understand, process all of it. But with this trine to Venus, there is some acceptance that it's there, acceptance that we're on the journey of it. But with the square to society, you know, like, there's some difficulty of maybe having support in the world. There's maybe difficulty of expanding and accomplishing the things like that we want to at this moment. But all of these aspects are going to move off. And so this is temporary tension and difficulty. The moon has a sesquisquare to Eris, you know, and so it's this emotional, deep place of emotionally, like being more and more autonomous, rising up in your courage and strength, like the difficulty of that, or the impediments and the, you know, the blocks inside of you, the emotional blocks and impediments within you. Maybe you don't have emotional skills. That's what I do with all my one-to-one clients. They come in to learn habits, to gain visibility and revenue in their business, or to heal some things in their relationship, or to finally deal with all of the stuff that's purging up within them. But they leave with emotional mastery and emotional empowerment, because they learn emotional craft from me with my very proprietary, unique method of dealing with emotions. It's the most powerful way to deal with emotions, because it's simple and it works, and it's 100% effective, and you own it yourself. So, you know, if you've been wanting to deal with that and to have some way to start becoming emotionally empowered at the highest levels and start creating your dreams into reality, you can come book a discovery call that's perfectly free. And have a discovery call about coming into one-to-one coaching with me. I have a 6-month coaching program called Alchemical Goddess. So I work with clients in one-to-one coaching for 6 months at a time. A lot of clients stay from 6 to 18 months. And we do the deep alchemical transformation and healing, but we accomplish wild, audacious goals and dreams and turn our dreams into reality. But my clients leave with emotional empowerment at the highest levels. And so if you want to book a discovery call for that, you can go to empoweredwomenrise.com. That's empowered women with the E plural, rise, just 4 letters.com. And so this, you know, moon is also trine Jupiter. And, you know, emotionally, there's the ability to integrate all of the dynamics I've been talking about and that are going on. It's in this applying opposition to Saturn. We talked about that. So it's emotional integration, you know, this realization, what the overculture is, you know, the truth of things, making your vision Pisces, you know, into what we imagine, making all that real, you know, our imagination, what we imagine, what we vision, all that's Pisces. And, you know, Mercury's in Pisces ruling this full moon, making all of that real. Virgo is making it real. And so, this is this full moon, y'all. I hope that this was powerful and fun. And I'm going to get into the sun sign horoscopes for everyone. Make sure to throw down a like on this video. I really appreciate you being here. The likes help other women to find this and be inspired and uplifted, encouraged, maybe possibly during a really difficult time in their life. Saturn is speeding up, y'all. Saturn is moving fast. So Saturn is not going to conjoin with Neptune until it gets to Aries, until both planets move into Aries in 2026. But Saturn will be going retrograde in June, but Saturn is moving fast. So at that 9-degree mark. So I'll be getting into what's going on in the astrology after this full moon. So make sure to subscribe here to Light Goddess YouTube so that you can get notified when the next videos come out. I do your sun sign horoscopes. It takes me a couple of hours to do them. So thank you for throwing a like down on this video. I really appreciate you being here, sending you so much love. If you want to come join us in Healing Through the Zodiac, my online women's retreat, go to empoweredwomenrise.com. That's empowered women with the E plural, rise, just 4 letters.com. You can find out so much more there as well if you want to listen to my podcast or get any more information about working with me in an astrology reading. So I do have a sliding scale fee on astrology readings if money is a challenge for you. So don't worry, I have my standard price, but I also have a sliding scale. So that really helps a lot of people to go ahead and start working with their astrology in a reading and really digging into more. But come into Healing Through the Zodiac. We do a sacred feminine women's circle style over Zoom. It's powerful. I really set the space in the container, and then we close out the space at the end, and you will learn about your personal astrology in a way that you never have before. No astrologer is teaching astrology like this, I promise. I'm not teaching astrology to become an astrologer. I'm teaching astrology to be a powerful woman in your life and navigate this world, your relationships, your business, your life from such a powerful code breaking place because you have the language of life, which is astrology. So a lot of people are using HD and astrology to like excuse the maladaptive coping mechanisms they've created because they were trying to go through really challenging things and unconsciously creating these things. But people are like, I'm like this because I'm a reflector, or this is my moon. But let's use astrology to be empowered at the highest level as women, to create prosperity, to bring the feminine back onto this planet in a huge way, to anchor more love into this world, and to end depravity, to end the darkness. I'm sending you so much love. I'm so glad you are here. I hope this really uplifted, encouraged, and inspired you. Go to empoweredwomenrise.com to come join us in Healing Through the Zodiac, and we will dig into your sun sign horoscopes. Aries, 12th house loaded with this Sun, Saturn, and Neptune in Pisces. The ruler of this full moon, Mercury in Pisces, applying conjunction to Fomalhaut, fixed star of sacred feminine energy, humility, wisdom, and this Virgo full moon in your 6th house. This is the 6th house, 12th house dynamic for you, Aries. And full moon in this 6th house, all about your day-to-day life and work, your lifestyle. So it's really this question of how are you dismantling the patriarchy within your lifestyle? How are you breaking down those old ways of have tos, shoulds, the patriarchal masculine inside of your own psyche that's the slave driver and driving you to have to work harder or prove yourself or to grind or hustle instead of following that beautiful feminine flow and that intuition. This is the house of healing in the body and your health. You know, maybe some things are going on here. So what's being illuminated in this area of your life? What is the lifestyle that's being illuminated for you that you really long for? And you've had all of these I can't because in your head about it all. Because here's the thing, we're usually in prisons of thoughts. We think we can't, but really it's that, you know, we might have to move some pieces around in our life, do some hard things, but we absolutely can. Sometimes there's some energetic psychic work to do, but I haven't run into too many people that is really the block. It's usually the block is their own mind or emotions they're not feeling. And this is, you know, this Pisces water world, Mercury's in Pisces, you know, this is, you know, the mind and Mercury in Pisces is the mind thinking in impressions, thinking in images, not being able to put things in words. It's very nonverbal. It's telepathic. I could transfer you the image, but I can't speak it to you. I can't language it. I don't know how to say it. It's that kind of energy. And so it's this dynamic, all of this Aquarius energy in your 11th house of your audience and your Pluto here in your 11th house, your audience, building your audience, all of your friendships, all of your groups and collaborations and networking and connections with other people, also about bringing your gifts to the world. There's an individuation happening here of what you thought had to be. So there's some sort of liberation that's happening in your life in these areas. The ruler of Uranus and Jupiter both are in the 2nd house for you, the house of material possessions, of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the house of inner resourcefulness and gifts and talents and abilities, the house of money, the house of beauty and creation and fecundity and sensuality, sexuality. So what is up for you? In past life, you know, this could be bringing a lot of past life dreams, memories, subconscious material up into your dream world. This could be bringing it up into your psyche, material that's been repressed for you to finally see it. You know, there is this sesquisquare to Jupiter here from the moon. This could maybe mean some challenges. You know, a moon transit is 2 hours. So, you know, it's not going to be, it's 2 hours, it's 6 hours, it's a day. you know, maybe it's a few days, but a moon transit is not a long time. But this is the sesquisquare of tension with your money. Maybe you're trying to make a decision that you need it to happen by this day, and this just happens to come at this time that causes tensions with money. Maybe you need to rethink things. But again, a moon transit does not take long. So give it a week and you'll be through it. This south node in your house of relationships, sesquisquare Mercury here, there's, you know, maybe some tensions in relationships. There is maybe some issues with past lives that are bringing up like this wanting to be free of past life patterns, karmic momentum from past lives of where you know, people pleased or didn't own your boundaries or didn't speak up for yourself or didn't have equality in relationships, whatever, you know, dynamics, unhealthy dynamics. That's definitely, there's tension and there's illumination. Maybe there's not the ability to put it into words or process it, but it might be flooding your psyche to be dealt with and to be worked through. And so that's a really positive thing to work through. I would say, you know, Aries, the ruler of your sign, is in Mars in Aquarius. It's already come off of that Mars Pluto conjunction on the 14th. This full moon is on the 24th of February. Mars is is squaring Jupiter. That could be an alleviation of stagnation, of things not moving in your second house life, you know, your money goals, things you're trying to build and go. So you could really have maybe some movement and some stagnation finally dislodging here, or you could have some tension and some challenge with wanting to expand, wanting to make more money or scale something, or maybe you're fighting against other people with old status quo ideologies and so forth. So, but Mars moves fast, you know, so this isn't a transit that will last long. But Mars is in your 11th house, the ruler of your sign, and is in the new moon phase now with Pluto. And so there's a new beginning here. So I would really look in your life of what's happened since February 14th, and what's happened since, I would say, the middle of January to now, and what new blooming, what integration of understandings, challenges you've overcome, things that have happened in this 11th house arena of, you know, collaborations, other people, impersonal relationships, of bringing your gifts to the world, of group dynamics, how other people treat you, maybe old patterns from childhood of that, you know, in this arena. I would really look to see there should be some growth, because this is a new moon phase starting. Venus and Mars were traveling together. Venus has overtaken Mars now and has sped up, you know, past Mars. So it's there's positive things here. There is definitely this opportunity to work with whatever's arising and not be scared of it, not think that anything's went wrong, but narrate it as, oh, things will always be arising to be healing. We are in this era where humanity is tasked with healing 6,500 years of patriarchy, war, death, murder, bombings, horrible genocide, all this horrible stuff. Well, all of us individuals have to heal that stuff within our psyche. Of course, shit is going to be coming up all of our life for the rest of our life. I personally have seen it bear out that often there's a bulk of healing that you'll have to do. And then if you develop the skills, like the skills I teach in one-on-one coaching with my clients, then after you kind of do that bulk and that groundwork and that big bulk of healing, that unless there's an event that happens, that the things that filter up won't throw you. They may be big or they may be very meaningful, but they can also be very sacred and meaningful to move through, and you will be able to move through them with your skills and with the techniques that you have. So I would make sure you're narrating things in a way that allows you to look at life from the adventure, from this positive view of things. The ruler of Mars, or the sign of Mars, rather, all of this Chiron and North Node conjunction that happened on the 19th is all in your first house of identity. So there's some major things going on for you. At the time of this moon, there should be huge illumination of how you have grown, what you've come through. If you have been, having tools and working through it with a coach or what have you, or if you're ready to do that, this is about maybe having moved through big things and really healed and resolved a lot of big things at the time of this full moon, and really seeing the illumination, the integration psychologically of all of that information possibly, and really having your vision come online for the future and what you want to create, and knowing how to move towards that. So this could be really big, positive, good things everywhere. Everyone's somewhere different on that journey. So maybe you're ready to start your journey, and maybe you're just having a lot of things purge up. I hope you listen to part 1. I go over the Labyrinth from Minoan Crete culture, and it's really powerful. Let's pull you some cards, Aries. So, all right, I'm going to the birds for our cards for this Virgo imagination, reclamation of imagination, full moon. So you got the crow. Universal laws and truths are now being revealed. Use this energy to create your reality. So universal laws and truths are now being revealed. Use this energy to create your reality. So it's the crow card, and crows are all about the magic invisible realms. You have all that Pisces energy in your 12th house. It's the house of past life. It's the house of the mystical, the creative, the divine, the gestalt, the holistic picture of life, that all that is, all 12 signs are in that 12th house. It's the house of dreams and creativity and imagination. So it's also the house of insane asylums and imprisonment and all of that. But the crow is this magical communicator. First of all, crows remember human faces. So if a human is ever mean to them, they will remember that face and pass it down 3 generations. They pass down information to their progeny. They use tools to in their life. So they'll use a stick as a tool to get a nut out of a container. Crows are wildly intelligent animals. They are mystical and connected to the mystical. They are, connected to magic and the world in between. They're blackbird in the daytime. They're connected to that, going from the underworld up above and back again, to that death and rebirth process, very much to understanding, like, the card talks about the universe's laws and truth, like natural law, divine law, really being connected, like reconnect nature to the divine, reconnect the spirit to matter, really connecting back into the sacred truth of your intuition, not your wounds and fears and pains, but really hearing the intuition that may ask you to do things that are really hard, actually, and that you might not want to do or have resistance to. For example, like maybe you're meant to write your book and you're having resistance to doing that, or it feels really hard and you just don't want to. And the divine is asking you to do that. So this is asking you to create your reality, to use all of the spiritual energy to make the reality real. And, this is really what this full moon is all about, the Pisces and the Virgo, the spiritual energy to make tangible reality, Virgo. So it's a really cool card that you got, Aries. The power of divine grace is within you, the white swan. So this is the swan card. It wants you to remember that there is this gracefulness that can be had with life. There can be this feminine flow. There can be this grace. There can be this connection of, instead of pushing and knocking over blocks and barriers and like knocking over things, like in a shop where you're just knocking over everything down or just trying to get to the front of the line. it's saying that there is this divine grace, that is this knowing that will give you the answer as you need it in the moment. And when you feel like you need an answer and it's not there, don't think that something's went wrong. Like, you've already been given the task, and are you acting upon it? Are you doing it? So if it was writing the book, are you sitting down at your computer and trying? You got the cardinal. Stand tall and proud. See the leadership role unfolding ahead of you. This is asking you to step up into your role as a sacred feminine leader, as a female leader in this world, as a light bringer, change maker, world server, a starseed, however you identify, but it's asking you to stand in your platform, grow your business, do your work in this world, stop being afraid, stop shrinking, stop playing small, and make it real. So your whole reading, and the fact that, you know, for an Aries, it's pure, it's in the 12th house, 6th house axis, if it's going to be a Virgo, Pisces, a Virgo full moon, it's all about bringing the divine into the tangible reality and making it real. So be the leader, stand up in your truth. You got this, Aries. Use that beautiful Aries energy to do this. And Aries, if you want to throw a like down this video, I really appreciate it. If you want to come join us in Healing to the Zodiac, there's a link below the video, or go to empoweredwomenrise.com. Taurus. All this Pisces energy is in your 11th house, the house of bringing your gifts to this world, the house of your audience, the house of the all of your collaborations, networking, impersonal relationships, friendships, anything that you're doing in groups and circles of people out in the world, any institutions, anything like that. This is this house of this energy. And so you got the Sun, Saturn, and Neptune lined up here. And then the ruler of this full moon, Mercury, is here in Pisces, this full moon, excuse me, Virgo full moon in this 5th house of taking your will, your solar plexus chakra, your will, your life force energy to create your destiny. It's asking you to make it happen, to get on the adventure of life, to do your business, do your mission, upgrade to the next level, do the project that you're not doing. What are you putting off in your life? It's asking you to stop putting it off and to dig into it. It's also, you know, this is Pisces land, so there's could be some wounds and some challenges coming up. It's arising for you to deal with it. It's a good, positive thing. It's time, it's ready for you to finally heal it and face it. And, you know, to do that healing work, that's exactly what I do with women in my 6-month coaching program. You can book a free discovery call with me at empoweredwomenrise.com. But Mercury here in Pisces, ruling this moon, is going to speak in pictures and telepathy and images and creativity. Watch your dreams and what's coming up, really important. There's a lot illuminating about what you're creating, about your vision and your mission. There's something becoming clear. There's a pathway that's being made known to you. And the ruler of your sign, Venus, has had that Pluto Venus conjunction on the 17th and square, you know, Jupiter in your 1st house, and is going to be in an exact square around 10 p.m. on the 24th. You know, Venus is in Aquarius, all about individuation, and you have been feeling this, you have been doing it, you've been working on it, you are on the journey of it, it is happening. So if you want to look in your life and see how you've been individuating from something, how you've been liberating from something, most likely it's deconstructing the patriarchy. Maybe you would put another name to it. Maybe you wouldn't put it in those words, but maybe it's deconstructing thoughts and beliefs that aren't serving you, that have been creating these stories and keeping you in all of these different cages that you've been living in and not realizing it, and stuck in old past life patterns and stuck in old maladaptive coping mechanisms, because that's what we do until we know better. We do better when we know better. But there's a liberation that has been occurring for you, and you're on that journey here very deeply. In the square to Jupiter in your first house, Jupiter about expansion and wisdom and natural law, not man-made law. But there's a tension in the square. So, and so is it this integration psychologically that's happening here? Is it this tension between your identity and who you are and your, how you see yourself in your career, or how you're seen by others? Venus is in your 10th house of sacred mission, of soul mission, of sacred calling, of your career. And so Venus is pushing you towards liberation in your soul mission, in your career, and your thinking around it all, because it's in the cerebral air sign. So how have you been thinking about career, soul mission, all of that? The South Node is in the 6th house of day-to-day work, the difference between career and work. And so it's also in the house of lifestyle. And what are the wounds in the shadow around lifestyle? Because there is a sesquisquare hard aspect to Mercury, the ruler of this full moon. So what's going on with your lifestyle that there's shadow around, or that you don't like, or, there's challenges. Maybe it's the challenge of changes. Maybe it's the challenge of relationships and working things out with people, but there's something here about your health or healing. It could be the challenge of healing and mentally integrating that and working through difficult moments, difficult emotions, Pisces emotions. So maybe it's about languaging your emotions. Also, this moon has the sesquisquare to Eris Xena. This is not a long transit. The moon moves fast, but at the time of this new moon and right before, a sesquisquare is about you standing up into courage around past life patterns that are playing out in your life, and you having courage and being able to face it and to utilize advantageously what is being illuminated in this full moon, what's becoming clear, what's going on, so you can move through it to step into greater courage and to greater sisterhood community. This Chiron North Node conjunction is in your 12th house of creativity, past life, healing. It's in the house of dreams and imagination, and of high spiritual energy and spiritual transcendental value system. So definitely a lot going down here, Taurus. Definitely a moon about your individuality, your creativity, and you doing your mission, your soul mission, and your gifts. It's about you taking your will to create your destiny. And where are you at on that journey? Most likely, if you're here, you're on that journey already. It's not that you're beginning it. And so where are you at right now? What is the next step that maybe you're resisting and having some resistance around, or maybe there's some impediments and blocks coming up from within your own psyche to be dealt with and healed and resolved. And that's always through emotions. And let's go for that, Taurus. If you have been wanting to heal and wanting to move forward in your life, you can book a free discovery call with me for my 6-month coaching program at empoweredwomenrise.com. Let's pull you some cards, Taurus. You got Cardinal. Stand tall and proud. See the leadership role unfolding ahead of you. So this is really about sending that love, that divine energy, that positive belief forward in your timeline ahead of you, and also realizing the leadership role that you're being called to. This is asking you to step into your soul mission at the next place in your journey. Realize the leader that you are, and the important messages you have to bring to the world, how important it is for other people to hear your transmission, how important it is for others that need your message so bad. They need your wisdom so much for them to move forward. Just think about somebody you've listened to in your life that you counted on to be there, and how important it was for you to have them. And you need to now become that person for someone, for other people. And so it's also saying you have the confidence to do it. You have that within you that you need to be able to do it. You have that which you need. So don't be afraid that you don't have that. What is happening? This is one deck of cards where they don't tend to pop up, so it's so interesting. You have the falcon, it's the falcon feather. Use your keen perception and skill in making decisions. Do not delay. So it's asking you to not put decisions off. When you make decisions, use your keen skills of perception. Don't overanalyze and be up in your head. The head is always deliberating. The mind deliberates, calculates, figures. That's not the intuition. The intuition is yes, no. It just knows. A lot of people misunderstand their intuition for their wounds and their fears and their self-doubts. That's not intuition. A lot of people use that and say, oh, it's my intuition's telling me no. No, your fear or your same old pattern or your unchecked brain, your unmanaged mind is saying no. but that's just your default response because that's what we do as humans. Or we want to get somebody to stop talking or trying to do something. So we're like, no, this quick answer. But take the time within yourself to listen to your intuition and instincts to make a decision, and then don't delay on decisions because you need to move on to the next part of the path. There's many steps ahead that are wanting you to go forward. You got the canary. Step forward now and sing your song. There's power in finding your voice. So it's really wanting you to understand that not only will you be bringing this gift to the world, but you will get this gift from bringing your voice forward. This might be literal, or this might be about speaking your voice in this world, bringing your thoughts forward, your messages, or this might actually be someone, maybe you're a performer or a singer, and it's saying that step into it, let's go. You have this magic inside you that is this medicine for someone somewhere. Don't delay. All right, Taurus, you got the message. This card came out, so I will give you one more card, Taurus. It's the goose. Your dreams. It's the gooses. The gooses. Your dreams and desires are calling you to action. The journey begins today. So you got a lot of don't delay, get going, take action. The message I'm getting from Spirit is that there is a timing happening right now. There's a momentum to capitalize on. And if you've ever not capitalized on a momentum or a moment in time before, I haven't, and I know the pain of that. So it's saying, it's okay if you don't, you don't, whatever, there'll be another one. But it's really saying like, there's a moment happening here. Take action, don't delay, move with it. It can feel messy when it accelerates like this. It can feel scary. All of that's okay, but don't let it stop you. Be on the adventure of life, be on the journey. There is a moment happening here for Tauruses. All right, y'all. You heard the message. You got it. So come join us at empoweredwomenrise.com. My 12-week online retreat happening every Tuesday. There is replays, so don't worry if you have to miss some, but you go to empoweredwomenrise.com or the link below to join us. It's a really incredible prize. So you don't want to miss this. It is us women meeting each week to dig into our personal astrology and to upgrade our lives. Don't miss this. Healing through the Zodiac. And it's all at empoweredwomenrise.com. All right, Taurus, thank you for throwing a like down this video. I will see you next time. Really appreciate you being here. Gemini, let's go. Hey, Gemini, how are you doing? This is a 10th house, 4th house axis for you. So it's the roots, the foundation, the home, the sanctuary, and taking up real estate in this world, taking up space in this world for you, Gemini. Please throw a like down this video. I really appreciate it. And let's get into this this moon for you. This moon is ruled by Mercury, ruling your sign. And so this is really your full moon, Gemini. This is your fourth house, moon happening in your fourth house of home and family and kids and children and mother, parents, all of that. But it's also the house of deep emotional security. We always try to get emotional security from what? Status, money, possessions, relationships. But we actually have to get it from within. And that is the only way we'll ever actually truly have real stability. That's the only way there's actually stability, is emotional stability from within ourselves, not emotional stability that comes from not feeling alone, from codependence from other people, or having money, or the world thinking that we're great, or our degrees and supposed expertise. So this is a moon that's illuminating something about that dynamic for you. You have this stellium of Pisces going on in your house of soul mission, sacred calling, career, taking up space in the world, politics, your voice in the world, being a leader, your structures in your life. And the sun and Saturn and Neptune are here. So, you're definitely in a 10th house Saturn situation. So until Saturn moves out in 2026, when Saturn and Neptune have a Aries conjunction in your 11th, but Mercury is in Pisces. This could be dreams giving you information, and this could be a lot of repressed subconscious material coming up as related to you stepping out in the world and taking up more space in this world as a woman, as a leader, anything else that you might identify that has not been allowed or has been rejected in this world, or trivialized or minimized. This is you claiming your space and authority in this world, also authority, authorship of your life. How are you authoring your life? How are you writing the chapters? What is in this book? Are you choosing your adventure, or are you going by outdated standards, society's way and rule book, or your families? Maybe this is the illuminating family dynamics that maybe you're finally ready to grow out of. The South Node in the 5th house of creative self-actualization, children, romance, is sesquisquare Mercury, your planet. And so there's definitely this past life material around relationships, people pleasing, owning your no and yes boundaries, speaking your needs, and all around your children, or your romance, or your creative self-actualization part of your life, being a leader, being confident, putting your gifts into the world, bringing your magic to this world, making things, creating. So there's a sesquisquare to your business. So there's something here about wounds around, maybe, it's writing or painting or creating courses and content, or whatever it is that you create. Maybe you create gelato or services, but there's some sort of wounds that you are being tasked with cleaning up, and maybe there's some tension. Maybe you are not on that journey yet. Maybe you're deep in that journey and it's just challenging, it's surfacing, it's coming up. Maybe you need the tools to get on that journey. This is exactly what I do with women in my 6-month coaching program. If you've been looking to do this work, you can book a free discovery call at empoweredwomenrise.com, or the link below. And so this moon is illuminating a lot about healing. The Virgo Pisces axis is all about healing. It's all about bringing that spiritual energy into the tangible and making it real. And so there's something about this ethereal energy being in your 10th house. Mercury here has a hard time communicating in language. It communicates in pictures and impressions and emotions. It can be telepathic, but it has a hard time languaging here in Pisces. This Chiron North Node conjunction on the 19th took place in your 11th house of bringing your gifts to the world, individuation, your individual uniqueness and your friendships and collaborations and your audience and your business and your networking and groups. And so this Aries is about being seen, about being assertive, about boundaries, and all of these types of themes. I go over all that very deep in part 1. This Venus square is your 9th house, 12th house axes. And so again, there's something here about your creativity, the wounds around it, and you breaking free from those wounds so that you can no longer be stymied and held back from this greater expansion, expression of your work in the world, your ideals, your intellectual property coming out into the world in a bigger way and making that a reality and bringing that forward in the world. There, you could feel like you're kind of tamped down and restricted, but Saturn wants to catalyze you. So what is something that you're not willing to face? Like, what's the resistance here? It's something that Saturn's asking you. Let's pull you some cards. I really appreciate you throwing a like down this video, Gemini. And I'm really happy always to get your comments, find out what is on your mind. You got the condor. This is the bird of the Andes shamans. And so there is definitely high spiritual magic with a condor. Hold the highest vision for your life. You now possess the ability to move past any hurdles. So I love this, how all that Pisces is in your 10th house of soul mission, sacred calling. This card is asking you to hold that highest vision. Make sure you're using your imagination for good, using your imagination to imagine the future that you want to live in, that you want to create. Virgo is the reality. And so what do you actually want to live? Because it's saying that you have to vision it in your mind and then walk those steps, taking action, creating it into reality to that vision. Let's pull you another card, Gemini. You got the Starling. Now is the time to get out into the world and connect in authentic ways. It's wanting you to network. It's wanting you, you got that North Node and Chiron conjunction in that 11th house of networking, of meeting up with new possibilities, new clients, new referral partners, new collaborations, new friendships, new partnerships of all kinds. It's wanting you to get out into the world. And also it's really highlighting authentic, like be true to yourself. So you're connecting with people that will be kindred and truly connected to you in positive ways because you're being true to you, because you're being your real authentic self. It's not time to be flighty and dualistic and holding a part of yourself back. It's time to be that open, friendly, Gemini, candid person, to allow people to have a safe space with which to connect. You got the ostrich. The choice is clear for you now. Follow the wisdom and truth you feel in your heart. So this is saying that there's been a lot of clarity that's cleared up for you, and that you know what it is, and it's wanting you to follow your heart and listen to it. There's something about your whole reading about listening to your heart, following your intuition. There's something about, I keep getting this message about there's something holding you back. There's some resistance, something you need to face that's coming up to be healed or resolved. You need to work with some emotions and process some emotions through. Remember, Pisces is feminine, very internal, emotional energy. It also likes to escape. So don't be the escape artist in your life. Make sure you're digging in and bringing your gifts to us. There's people out there that need your medicine. All right, Gemini, if you'd like to come join us in Healing Through the Zodiac, go to empoweredwomenrise.com or click the link at the below. And thank you for subscribing and throwing a like down this video. I will see you next time. Appreciate you being here. Cancer. This full moon for you is your ninth house, third house axes. The moon rules your sign and is in Virgo, the sign of health, the sign of making it tangible and making it a reality, the sign of, matter and orderliness, meticulousness, analyzing, schedules, routines, getting things accomplished, getting things done. It's a sign of service, being in service and caring about others. It's the sign of improvement and humility. So it's a sign of humility. It's in this third house of your mindset. So there's this illumination and analyzation in your mindset, in the way that you perceive and communicate and talk to people, but there's something illuminated here. This is the healing axis, and it's in this ninth house, third house axis about healing your voice. This is intellectual property, publishing. This is wisdom, your expertise, putting yourself out there in the world. This is having something to say to the world and publishing it, creating it, making your own intellectual property, getting it out in the world. Either it's time to get busy and do it, or either you have had that little inkling in the back of your mind and this is the push, the loud alarm saying, hey, it's time to go do it. It's time to believe that you're meant to, that you can, that you have it in you. I keep sensing that there's some people, some Cancer people that are really just, it's such a quiet calling that it's almost like, oh, I didn't know that that calling was for me, even though it's happening inside of my mind, inside of my psyche. But this is this loud message. It's wanting you to create. I think some of you are ready to push the button, but there's some work to be done to complete and to finalize. I mean, with publishing, there's so many steps, right? So Mercury that rules this full moon is in Pisces, and the sign of impressions and dreaming and imagination and creativity. This is a reclamation of imagination and being on the adventure. Ninth house is the adventure. It is travel abroad. It is the adventure within our mind or within our travels. It is wanting to have ignorance be eradicated. It is wanting us to step into our empowered self and know that we have this wisdom we're meant to bring to the world. It's wanting us to act, to not act against nature and to act in line with divine law. You have Saturn and the Sun and Neptune hanging out in Pisces in your ninth house, illuminating this connection to the all that is, the greater universe, the greater cosmos, what it all means. Maybe you're asking questions in this realm. Saturn is here. There's some sort of catalyzing here in this area of your life. And the ruler of your sign is this moon in Virgo, co-present here with Lilith and Juno. There is this square to Jupiter in your 11th about expansion, friendships, networking, bringing your gifts to the world, and Venus here in your 8th house of sex and death and taxes, of the mystical, metaphysical, psychological, of the deep connection to the spiritual world, of merging with other people to overcome your limitations and your blocks and learn things. And Pluto is in your 8th house, all about psychological and metaphysical. There's something here about you really gaining some sort of great depth. I'm guessing that there's been some spiritual awakening, some spiritual awakening obviously is a continuation, so it never stops, but often we have kind of a slam bang, like main awakening or a spontaneous awakening, or many of them kind of in a short burst of time. But it seems like there's some deeper epiphanies, insights, big understandings coming in for you now. And you're kind of on this journey of this, especially with Pluto here for 20 years. So in your natal chart, Pluto will probably be in 2 houses. over this 20 years. So South Node and that fourth house of home and family foundation, roots, emotional security, sesquisquare Mercury in your ninth house of higher wisdom, natural law, travel, and so forth. So there should maybe be some, this could literally be fear of traveling. This could be needing to feel safe. This is old wounds and things coming up, things in relationships holding you back from your dreams. This could be things like this, but there's tension here, but it wants to be resolved. So it's looking to be resolved. This Chiron North Node conjunction happened in your 10th house of soul, mission, career, and family. What's going down there? There should be this really stepping into independence, stepping into more autonomy and sovereignty, stepping into your assertiveness and courage. This is a big deal. Think about what happened on the 19th for you during this conjunction. Something has shifted and dislodged for you. This is big. This square here could be something really shifting or could be tension. So this is you having a really new understanding, integrating psychologically a lot that you've understood, clarity that's come in, new epiphanies that are happening, but there's a deeper theme for you about really deep expansion mentally, psychologically, spiritually, metaphysically. You got the starling. Now is the time to get out into the world and connect in authentic ways. It's wanting you to network, talk to people, build relationships, get out there, put yourself out there. Learn the skill of doing that. Learn how to overcome objections with clients. Learn how to attract soulmate clients and people that just vibe with you and get you. Learn how to build friendships and relationships and just feel if it's kindred, and don't assume right away, and communicate and talk. That third house is all about communication. It's all about ambulation. It's all about movement and freedom and ideas and embracing all of life's experiences. And with the moon in Virgo there, it wants to kind of analyze everything, which is not wrong, but we can overanalyze. Instead, use that Virgo to improve your intellectual property, third house, or improve your skills at being open and friendly and candid and connecting with people and discerning. Use the Virgo to discern who should I connect with, who should I not, listening to that intuition that you have inside of you. You got the Canary card. Step forward now and sing your song. There's power in finding your voice. So definitely wanting you to be the leader that you're meant to be, speak up, put your voice out there. That is the whole third, ninth house axis, is publishing, intellectual property, like I said. So you're meant to get out of this funk that you're in, this resistance that you may be experiencing, and work through that. I teach all my clients that in one-on-one coaching in my 6-month coaching program. You can book a free discovery call at empoweredwomenrise.com. This is the Peacock card. You got the Peacock card. Inherent wisdom is emerging at this time. Watch it and ready yourself for a rebirth. So it's a fascinating card because of that ninth house, all that Pisces energy in your ninth house. Pisces, death and rebirth. The 12th house, past life inlet. There's very much like this wisdom emerging, ninth house, wisdom emerging, this like just pure, wise, very pure energy. So really beautiful reading for you. I hope this helps you. Please send a like, throw a like down on this video. I spend a couple hours doing sun signs, so I really appreciate it. Really helps the algorithms. And also, if you subscribe, you'll be notified when the next video comes out. If you want to come join us in healing through the Zodiac, go to empoweredwomenrise.com or click the link below. So appreciate you being here, Cancer. Talk to you next time. Leo, 8th house, 2nd house axes for you, all about sex and sexuality, healing. So this could very much be sexual healing, healing of your sensuality, healing of being able to self-pleasure and get intimate with yourself physically, merging with other people. This could also be deep psychological healing and resolution and going within into the underworld and death and rebirth. This could be finances and money and, betrayals that you've overcome and things like that. So, God, I wish I would stop doing that. There we go. This is a huge inlet in Pisces Virgo here, this Mercury ruling this new moon, and in your eighth house of the metaphysical, of the psychological, of going into the underworld, of being on the precipice of the light and the dark, the ego and the soul. What am I going to choose? The ego of the soul, the ego and the soul. And Leo wrestles with that, right? The ethereal light that's so pure, and also the ego and the grandiose and the issues there. And so the sun ruling your sign is in Pisces, just entered Pisces season, is, creating this full moon, is conjoining and an applying conjunction to Saturn for the yearly Saturn Sun conjunction happening in Pisces in your eighth house. So what is this for you? Is this sexual healing? Is this past life trauma and things coming up? Is this about your deep, intimate relationships, your partners, your marriage? Is it about you overcoming blocks and limitations and deep things that you've been working to overcome and heal? This could be healing the deep subconscious trauma from childhood or abusive relationships. This is definitely deep stuff. This isn't small stuff. This is pretty big. This particular, the sun Saturn conjunction every year is whatever sign Saturn is in. And so this is, this in your eighth house for a couple years here. So it's happening here for you. What is this about? Look into your life and you will definitely know. There's an illumination of things to do with money and materialism and your home life. And if you feel secure, if you feel safe, if you're bringing your gifts to the world and putting them out there in this world. But there's something here about the tangible reality and the metaphysical and, there's something illuminating about your money and also about bringing your gifts to the world, about self-value. So there's something here about self-value. What needs healed? What block is standing in the way of valuing yourself with this South Node in your third house of your mind and your thoughts? Sesquisquare, this eighth house of subconscious material, repressed material, blocks, things. There's something going on here. It's most likely the way that you're narrating old wounds, old things you've been through. Half of the wound is the way we narrate the injury. This Chiron North Node conjunction took place in your ninth house of natural law and travel abroad and higher wisdom and being the expert. So definitely something to look at for standing in your leadership and standing in your expertise. So let's pull you some cards, Leo. Thanks for throwing a like down on this video. I spent a couple hours on sun sign horoscopes, so I really appreciate it. Appreciate you being here. This is the eagle. You are learning all aspects of spiritual connection and reaching new heights. And so this is speaking about the eagle that is able to see the tiniest detail and the biggest vision of the whole picture all at the same time. So it's that Virgo Pisces axis. It's the details and the organization and the making it real and the gestalt, the whole picture, the holistic understanding of all of it. It's wanting you to take that into consideration. It's definitely about the mind for you, Leo. This is huge about managing your mind, learning how to manage your thoughts, learning what your thoughts are creating. Your thoughts are always creating your results. And how are they doing this? How are they creating your emotions and driving your actions? This is exactly what I work with clients with in my coaching program. And so if you've been wanting to change this in your life, you can go book a free discovery call at empoweredwomenrise.com. You've got the Parrot card, let go of others' thoughts and opinions. It's time to embrace who you really are. And this Parrot card is all about mind, questioning our thoughts, questioning our brain and all the thoughts our brain offers us, all the default thoughts that don't help us, that our brain just has because we've been thinking them, because we had those situations, because they've been unchecked. And learning how to actually manage your mind, question your thoughts, choose your thoughts consciously and deliberately. Is that thought creating the result that I want in my life? And if not, if it's a $0 thought, I don't want to keep choosing it. If that thought isn't creating money, if it's not creating great relationships, if it's not creating happiness and joy and love, if it's not creating my healing, then why am I going to keep thinking that thought? Obviously, with trauma, we want to work through trauma differently, but there's something huge about mindset, and understand that mindset is not positive thinking. Positive thinking is spiritual bypass. You got the cardinal card, stand tall and proud, see the leadership role unfolding ahead of you. So very much it's asking you to get on soul mission, step into the leadership role, to really believe in yourself and to put your voice out there and to make sure you're valuing yourself at the highest levels. This Virgo moon is in your second house of valuing yourself, and it has a lot to do with your mind, how you're thinking about yourself, the world, and everything else. So sending you so much love, Leo. Make sure to throw down a like on this video. If you subscribe, you'll be notified when all the new videos come out. And if you want to join us for this women's retreat, Healing Through the Zodiac, you can do that at empoweredwomenrise.com or clicking the link below. I will see you next time. Appreciate you being here, Leo. Virgo. Virgo, first moon, full moon for you, all about your character, appearance, identity stuff, all about personality, ego stuff. So any wounds in your ego and feeling seen, doing things for the ego reasons of status, what other people think to prove yourself, versus from your soul, from that sacred feminine creative heart inside of you that is doing it for your own heart that is here to bring something forward into the world. This is this people pleasing axes, this relationships, the seventh house of completion. So maybe this is projects being completed, something coming to a close. That could be a relationship. You have the sun and Saturn and Neptune in Pisces lined up in your seventh house, dreaming a new dream in relationships. There's a new vision for relationships. Also, though, there could be some escapism going on. Saturn is here in your seventh house wanting to catalyze something, is restricting growth to build new structures. There could be a depression going on in relationships. Maybe the ending of relationships has happened. And what that brings up within you, your ruler of your sign, Mercury, rules this Virgo full moon in Pisces and is in dreaming, speaking in dreams, speaking in impressions, speaking in images, speaking telepathically, but not speaking in language at the moment. Mercury, pay attention to your dreams. A lot of messages may be churning up in your dreams, really important. And so what went down here in relationships and your own autonomy, there's something here being illuminated about your own sovereignty, your own autonomy, your own assertiveness, your own boundaries, owning your no and yes, really standing up into this place of a new sense of yourself. This is the full moon of your first house, of a new sense of who you are. This is an emotional birthday in a way where it's a rebirthing, or a new threshold has been crossed emotionally. And what does this mean for you? What is going on here for you? The Chiron North Node conjunction on the 19th took place in your 8th house of sex, of overcoming obstacles and barriers, of this dynamic between the soul and the ego, of the metaphysical and the mystical, the spiritual. and the psychological. So deep subconscious material about being seen, about identity, about you speaking up for yourself and how that's received in the world. So some changes have happened here. There's definitely been some growth, some big transformation has taken place. What is that? What has that been? That Jupiter Venus square is your ninth house, sixth house axes, all about travel abroad. And that could be this great expansion of your mind, your leadership and expertise in the world, standing up in your wisdom, your connection to natural law and divine law, and your lifestyle day to day, your health, your body, your work moment to moment. And so this Venus wants to individuate your lifestyle in some way. And the square to Jupiter may be wanting to keep some old status quo, or maybe you're scared of expanding into a greater sense of your own leadership and expertise in this world, or maybe there's a trip that you don't want to take or that you do, and your day-to-day lifestyle, there's something about this. So something going on here for you, the sesqui square to the south node in your second house of money, you know, there's money wounds, there is wounds around your Maslow's hierarchy of needs, of valuing yourself, of self-worth. That stuff is coming up to Mercury, and maybe in your dreams, it may be information and data that you're getting, but you might not know how to language it, draw it, paint it, dance it, flow it, move it in your body, get somatic with it, but that will help you to move it out and through you. Let's pull you some cards, Virgo, and throw a like down in this video. Really appreciate it. I spend about a couple hours on the sun sign horoscope, so I appreciate your comments and your likes. If you subscribe, you'll be notified when the new videos are posted. You got the white swan. The power of divine grace is within you. This is asking you to connect to the spiritual part of yourself, get out of your head and the analyzation, and really let the feminine speak, flow from one intuitive knowing to the other intuitive knowing to the next intuitive knowing. It's wanting you to reconnect to the divine. There's been some sort of disconnection, some sort of too mired in all the details and all the day-to-day workings of the world of analyzing to death things. It's wanting you to reconnect back into something deeper and something sacred. You got the turkey card, how honor your own time of harvest, offer your gifts and blessings of service to the greater good. I mean, it's definitely a Virgo card if ever was one, right? But it's also talking about honor your own time of harvest, also a Virgo theme. You know, the time of harvest, it's saying you're on your own divine timeline. And the whole divine timing thing, man, that shit is spiritual speak bullshit used in really horrible ways. So what I mean is to honor your own timeline, but not letting your wounds and your self-doubt hold you back. That's not a divine timeline. That is just your wounds and your trauma and not facing it and dealing with it. But this is saying to stop pushing. This is about like you're pushing and hard on yourself and judging yourself and berating, and you're letting that like patriarchal masculine within your own being push you into the grind and the hustle and the doing and all of that, and not honoring your own process of feminine flow, your own process of listening to intuition and heeding that call and doing that, and listening to intuition and then acting upon it, listening to intuition, acting upon it. It's also saying to that you like knowing you have your blessings and gifts to offer this world and showing up from a place of service and bringing those to the world and connecting into that. You got the Raven, a very magical card. The universe is calling you to notice important synchronicities. And so again, this call back into your spiritual soulful self, a call back into your heart, a call back into your body, out of the head and mind, into the spirit self, into your connection to the metaphysical, into, this is, into your connection to, this is sorry, I was checking something. So into your connection to the metaphysical and the numinous and the ethereal world, the spiritual world. Like, what is your intuition calling you to? But this is a really magical card wanting you to like listen, to hear, to be still, to be within this flowing, all the Pisces world, to be in that world and out of the mind. The thing is that the mind deliberates, but the intuition just knows. It's just no or yes. And then the mind will come in and then be like, well, was my intuition right? You know, and there is something that it takes time for our mind to trust our intuition. And it's a hell of a journey that we're on, and we're learning that skill. But it's wanting you to do that dynamic. So if you'd like to come into Healing Through the Zodiac, my weekly online women's retreat, love to have you there. You can sign up at empoweredwomenrise.com and find out more about it there. The link is below as well. Throw a like down this video. Really appreciate you being here, Virgo. I will see you next time. Doing that. Let's do this. Libra, you have the Sun, Saturn, and Neptune in Pisces all in your 6th house. And this full Virgo full moon in your 12th house. This could definitely be purging up a lot of past life material that wants to be worked with, healed, released, resolved. There is a great specific way to do that. I do that with my clients. If you've been wanting to do that work, you can definitely book a free discovery call at empoweredwomenrise.com for my 6-month coaching program, or for the Reiki work that I do to heal past lives and to heal the old patterns coming up. But this is this 6th house, 12th house inlet for you. All of this Pisces energy in your 6th house, the opposite house of that Pisces energy, all the house of lifestyle, of healing, of the body, of your day-to-day life, of how your day-to-day life feels. There's all of this dreamy imagination energy there, all of this mystical and the madness energy there, all of this deep spiritual transcendental energy. So it's wanting to get really detailed about working with the completion. Something's coming to a completion. What is that? There's something being illuminated here, and you'll know what this is. Like, what is coming to a completion? What is over now? What is something big in your life? Or something that's just a small thing within your psyche, or something you've been working on that is coming to an end now, that is no longer a problem. But this could be deep things churning up. This is Mercury ruling this full moon in your 6th house of health and lifestyle and your body. And so there is dreams to pay attention to your dreams for the messages they have for you. There is some sort of portent, there is some sort of potential here that is mounting, and there's some threshold you're going to cross in this next week after this full moon. And it'll be interesting to see what that is. The South Node in Libra, in your 1st house, traveling through your 1st house of your character, your identity, who you are, who you feel like you are, your appearance. It is definitely this opportunity for deep emotional healing in this area of your life, of who you see yourself as how others see you, how you see the others see you, of, you know, your appearance, of how you deal with threat. There is this opportunity to work with all of the shadow, to integrate it and to heal it, and to eliminate things that have maybe been holding you back in the past. There's a sesquisquare to Mercury. It's a tension, it's a challenging aspect, but Mercury will move off that pretty quickly. But Mercury is zooming, but and Saturn is moving fast too. So it's this energy of shifts, of changes, of growth. could be growing pains, could be challenging things. This Chiron North Node conjunction in your 7th house of relationships. There's this autonomy birthing, and you'll definitely, this conjunction happened on the 19th. So by the time of this full moon, you will know something big is shifted within your relationships, within yourself, within your relationships. So how is your autonomy and your sovereignty and your assertiveness and your owning your boundaries, speaking your needs, owning your yes and no? How is some big new birthing, new moon phase, new cycle has begun in that area of your life? Something here is big. So let's pull you some cards. Definitely throw down a like on this video. It's been about 2 hours during the sun sign horoscope, so I really appreciate you throwing down a like on this video. Libra, you got the Dove card. Feel and allow a deeper sense of peace to fill you now. This is a divine quality. This is a divine quality. And so it's talking about the sense of peace about the future, letting go of doom, letting go of the fear that the other shoe will drop, that something bad will happen. That often takes energetic psychic work. It often takes some emotional work, and also reprogramming your mind, either the subconscious beliefs, or which I help my clients do in 3 days to 2 weeks, or working with your mind in all the ways you're narrating these different situations and scenarios in your life, because that's when you can bring peace into your life, when you're no longer narrating things as a catastrophe or a disaster or really challenging. It's not that you want to ignore the thoughts. You just want to see what the thoughts are creating and work with that. You got the Ren card. It's one of my favorite cards. Be bold and confident. Use all of your resources to create your dreams. It's wanting you to realize that all of the resources you have within you. And then it's wanting you to utilize them, and to not only see them within yourself, see everything that you've learned in your life that you have at your disposal, but then to utilize them and put them into action in your life. So be confident, be bold, put yourself out there. What else wants to come forward for you, Libra? This is the first house, no, 12th house. This is a 12th house new moon. So this is a rebirth, a death and a rebirth, but there is a death here with this full moon. So something is dying away. This parrot, let go of others' thoughts and opinions. It's time to embrace who you really are. This is all about your mindset and what you want to do. This is about individuality and being the unique you, the unique self, and not caring what other people think and the way that they would do it. It is about it is again about your mind and your thoughts. Are you managing your brain, Libra? It's so important. The Libra South Node is definitely activating everyone's mind, but yours probably even more so. So definitely I don't know. I love the bird cards. The birds called for this reading. I don't use them super often, but there's definitely something here about the dynamic between your own sovereignty and relationships for you. I'm sending you so much love, Libra. If you'd like to join us in healing through the zodiac, you can go to empoweredwomenrise.com or click the link below and throw a like down this video. If you subscribe, you'll be notified when the new videos come out. I appreciate you being here, Libra. Talk to you next time. Scorpio. Good. Okay. All right, Scorpio, let's go. Oh, I didn't talk about Venus. Oh, well. This is definitely an full moon about individuality, taking your will to create your destiny, about creative self-actualization, about making your dreams come true, believing in yourself, having confidence, having positive belief about your life in the future. This is the Sun, Saturn, and Neptune in Pisces in your 5th house of creative self-actualization, children, romance. So there could be a fantasy going on in your romance life, thinking the amazing, perfect partner is there when it's really an abuser. or being lost in the fantasy instead of actually creatively self-actualizing. Or this could be wild, creative, fecund energy, just popping off, making things happen, getting projects done, being wildly creative, all of this stuff channeling and downloading, and you making it real, making it into tangible reality. The full moon in Virgo is in your 11th house of your friends, your collaborations, people, networking, events, bringing your gifts to this world. And it's wanting you to really have discernment, to have that humility when you're standing in a leadership role with other people, because that humility is true wisdom. That humility is the opposite of hubris. It means you won't slide down the spiritual ladder. It's wanting you to be in service, to show up, to help people, to help them get the results they're wanting from you, to be that medicine, to be that balm to the world, and to really show up in service. The ruler of your sign, Mars, is in Aquarius, in individuation, in the 4th house of emotional security. Are you taking action for emotional security? You know, my clients all learn my 3-step process to emotions. It's simple to learn, but very deep. And if you've been wanting to really gain emotional mastery and empowerment, you can book a free discovery call for my 6-month coaching program at empoweredwomenrise.com. But Mars here wants to individuate from old stuck ways, from family ties, from family ideologies, from the past, from the mother. It's wanting to move into this individuated place within yourself of emotional mastery and emotional empowerment, and is square to Jupiter, about expansion, but also about the status quo, about the old dogmatic ways in your 7th house of relationships. So the old ways that you've done patterns in relationships, the old outdated ways of being. With Jupiter here, it could be expanding the old patterns, or it could be, breaking free and wanting to go greater into your self-value, into liberating your self-value. But this is difficult, like having problems in relationships, challenges of individuating and breaking free from how, it has been, from the old status quo in relationships. So South Node in your 12th house, a lot churning up from past lives, wanting to be resolved and worked with. The sesquisquare to Mercury, bringing up things possibly in your dreams. Pay attention to your dreams. There's a lot of information that you can use to help yourself in there. Let's pull you some cards, Scorpio, using the bird feather cards. So the bluebird wanted to come up for you. I appreciate you throwing a like down on this video, Scorpio. You are being gifted with blessings of happiness and peace. So it's wanting you to remember the importance of joy. My guides always really stress this so much, to really remember the importance of joy and how you can manifest better from joy. You can create better from joy. You can function better. But some people have a suspicion of joy because every time they had joy, they were abused or hurt. There's some different things around joy. So there could be some things there to heal. And with the South Node in Libra, your 12th house, that could be the case. But this is calling you back to playfulness, to joy, to happiness, to like seeing it, your mind using that imagination, right use of imagination, to call you back into the playfulness of your heart, the laughter, the fun. What do you need, Scorpio? You have the Hawk card. Pay attention. A powerful message is being communicated to you now. And so this is wanting you to really listen to your spirit messengers, to really see the signs, pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to what's coming up. There's important messages shifting and churning up for you. You will know what they are. It's not in your head. It's not through deliberating and calculating and analyzing. The intuition just knows. It's just yes, no. It just knows. It doesn't deliberate. Oftentimes we'll get the intuition and we'll be like, okay, I know. And then all of a sudden we'll let our minds be like, well, should I, shouldn't I? I guess I should. And and we won't do it. And we won't take action. We want to make sure that we're capitalizing on the opportunities that come by us. You got the condor. The condor is the Andes shamanic bird. It's the bird of deep mystical spiritual power. Hold the highest vision for your life. You now possess the ability to move past any hurdle. This is the overcomer card. This is, being the one that overcomes. This is wanting you to hold the highest vision for your life, knowing it's possible, seeing it as true, and then walking the steps to get there. And you can literally vision things into being. Yes, we have to take action, but I've done that in my life where I just believe, I just know, and I just take the actions and do it. And people are espousing obstacles and, oh, you can't, and this is a problem. And I'm like, no, I'm going, I'm doing it. I'm believing it into the steps being there for me as I need them, and the advice coming in, the helpers coming in. And so hold that highest vision. It says you possess the ability to move past hurdles. The condor is wanting you to remember your great resourcefulness within you to meet challenge as it occurs, and then to have the answers rise up within you as needed in the moment. You don't need to brace for them in advance. So great reading for you, Scorpio. Sending you so much love. Thank you for throwing a like down on this video. You feel free to leave any comments. If you subscribe, you'll be notified when the next video comes out. If you want to join us for healing through the zodiac, my online women's retreat, you can go to empoweredwomenrise.com and sign up or find out more, or the links below. Love to see you there. All right, Sag. Full moon in Virgo in your 10th house of soul mission, sacred calling, career, taking up space in this world, taking up real estate, speaking your voice, the opposite of that 4th house of sanctuary, foundation, feeling safe, secure, emotional security. You have the Sun and Saturn and Neptune lined up in Pisces in that 4th house of emotional security. Deep lessons happening for you in that area. Are you feeling your emotions? Do you know how? Do you know emotions craft? Exactly what I teach my clients in my 6-month coaching program. If you've been wanting to do that deep work, you can book a free discovery call at empoweredwomenrise.com. Mercury, the ruler of this full moon, is here in this 4th house as well. You're getting a lot of impressions, imagery. Pay attention to your dreams. Mercury here is asking for you to go into your emotions, be willing to communicate with them, hold space for them, be with them, be willing to do that emotional work. The ruler of your sign, Jupiter, is in Taurus in the 6th house of lifestyle. What's the old status quo of lifestyle for you, of health, of your body? What are you wanting to break free from? What are you wanting expansion in? This is also the expansion maybe of your self-value, self-worth, self-esteem, money. This is, having the lifestyle you really desire and dream of, co-present with Uranus, wanting to individuate, square to Mars and Venus in your 3rd house of your mind and how you think about everything. And positive thinking is not spiritual bypass. It's not mindset work. Mindset work is questioning your thoughts, seeing what they are creating, the results are creating. Do you want to create those results? Working with those, are you thinking $0 thoughts? It's really important. And Mars and Venus in this 3rd house, wanting to individuate from old paradigms, old perspectives, other people's ways, the patriarchal overculture's ways, to liberate your mind from the prison and the cages that you are programmed with, that you grew up in, that you've been believing recently, for whatever is going on there. But this is a huge liberation that's happening. Jupiter trine the moon at this time of this full moon, and definitely this positive, harmonious energy with being able to understand what needs to shift, what big, huge things you have accomplished and changed and grown, and where you've grown, where you have really accomplished and crossed a threshold. This is something big that has shifted that's really important. This Chiron North Node conjunction took place in your 5th house of taking your will to create your destiny, of children, of romance. And this happened on the 19th. Look at what the rebirth that has happened in that area of your life is. You got the Eagle card. You are learning all aspects of spiritual connection and reaching new heights. So it's really wanting you to realize that you're on this journey of leveling up spiritually, psychically, energetically, learning this area of this world. Also realizing that the eagle can see the tiniest detail and the big gestalt full picture of things simultaneously. And so this is exactly what this Virgo Pisces axis is being able to compartmentalize and to deal with the details, but also seeing the whole picture, the gestalt, the holistic view of life. This is not being in one or the other too much, but being able to hold both, being able to hold disparate ideas. And that's a huge part of the spiritual world, because it is the paradox, which is very Piscean. You got the Falcon, which is use your keen perception and skill in making decisions. Do not delay. This is saying that stop procrastinating, that you don't want to take too much time of deliberating in your mind, analyze. Your intuition is just a yes, no. And don't confuse your fears and self-doubt for intuition. Often we do that. You got the flicker. New rhythms are coming into life now. You are encouraged to trust and adapt. So this is really talking about your lifestyle and new ways of being. That Jupiter in the 6th house, new expansion, individuation, Uranus being there. Or is it in your 5th house? Shit. I can't remember. What are we doing here? Yeah, 6th house. Yay. And so it's this individuation of old lifestyles, ways that you've been being that weren't serving you. And it's talking about new rhythms. So a new cadence to life, new possibilities, maybe living in new places, moving, it's wanting you to be on the ready to pay attention to spiritual signs, take action right away on them, hear the message. And it says, trust it, adapt, trust the good, trust the joy. Everything is all right now. Sending you so much love, Virgo. Throw a like down this video. I appreciate any comments. If you want to subscribe, you'll be notified when the next video comes out. And definitely join us for my online women's retreat called Healing Through the Zodiac, where we take one zodiac sign each week and dig into your personal natal birth chart, your personality, and your life. So powerful. Come to empoweredwomenrise.com to join us, or click the link below. You can find out more information there as well. Lots of love to you, Virgo. Until next time. Capricorn. This is the 3rd house, 9th house axes for you. This Virgo 9th house full moon, all about traveling abroad, really understanding the world from a natural law perspective, being back into communication with that, with living in line with the celestial Mother Earth, divine flowing through all of life, understanding you within the cosmos and the cosmos within you, that whole perspective. And this is Virgo about discernment, about healing, about being in service and showing up to improve. And it's wanting you to improve and step into this ability of expertise, to believe in your expertise, to believe in yourself, This is this deep Pisces energy of the sun, Saturn, and Neptune here in your third house of the mind. There's a lot of transformation happening here, a lot percolating. You're learning the difference between truth and falsehood. Saturn's catalyzing something here in your mind, maybe restricting the way that you're thinking, breaking down old structures of thinking. Pisces is very much the dismantling, dispersion of structures. Mercury, the ruler of this moon, is here in your third house of the mind, and it's speaking in pictures and dreams and impressions. It's reclamation of your imagination, using your imagination in the right way to create the vision of what you want to create, and then taking the steps to get there and seeing that positive belief and taking the steps to get there, really believing in what you can create, believing in what you're here to do. The ruler of your sign, Saturn in Pisces, a sign of disillusionment and escapism in this third house of like maybe escaping into fantasies, when really it's about breaking down all the old structures of your concepts, your constructs, the way you think about life. And so you can look through a clean lens. It's about cleaning the lens of your mind and no longer being in the back alleyways, no longer having the thoughts that create shitty results in your life. All of my clients learn how to create results in their life using their mind, questioning their brain, learning how to manage their brain, pen to paper. Really powerful work that changes your life. And if you've been wanting to do that work, you can book a free discovery call with me at empoweredwomenrise.com. But there's something so powerful. So many people don't have control over their brain. Their brain is just up there thinking all of these default thoughts, all of these unintentional thoughts that are creating really horrible results in their life. They're $0 thoughts creating zero money. They're creating zero good relationships. They're creating self-doubt and low self-worth and procrastination and escapism, when you can think deliberately on purpose thoughts that create money, create great relationships, create self-love, that creates valuing yourself, that create action and make you take action. And so it's so powerful to begin working with your thoughts in that way. This Chiron North Node conjunction was in your fourth house of inner emotional security. And you should be having a rebirth. It happened on the 19th. So at the time of this full moon on the 24th, what is this rebirth that you are in this area of autonomy, sovereignty, assertiveness, owning your boundaries, owning your no and yes, and deep emotional security, your sanctuary, your roots, your home, your center, sense of security. So deep, deep stuff going on for you, Capricorn. Let's pull you some cards. Thank you for throwing a like down in this video. It takes me a couple hours to do the sun sign horoscopes, and I really appreciate you throwing a like down in the video. Find comfort and balance in simple ways. You have all the support around you. This is the duck card. Ducks are magical. I don't know if you know that, but they're really magical beings and creatures. They are really in this liminal world between the land and the water. You know, they live in both worlds, and they naturally maneuver and navigate both worlds flawlessly. And they move between worlds. It's that archetype of understanding what is needed when, holding many disparate things at the same time, holding that paradox, not holding it as in holding it up as in a burden, but holding it as in being able to contain it without it being a burden. This is asking you to find balance and comfort in simple ways, and to realize, like, get out of your head and all the worries about money, all the worries about how things are going to be, and to see that the earth is actually supporting you right underneath your feet, right underneath your seat right now. The earth is always supporting you. There's a fecundity. If you had to live in nature, you could live in nature. I was at this laundromat in Colorado, and there's these things called Saskatoon service berries. I had to look them up, and okay, it's a hell of a name. I love it. Saskatoon service berries. And they're like a blueberry type of berry, and they're just all over these bushes outside of this laundromat, because this girl, like, she started eating them, and I was like, what the fuck is she eating? This is so cool. Yeah, I want to learn more foraging, natural foraging techniques, and knowing what food is worth eating. And so I just started eating them and looking them up, and they were so good. And it's just like, the truth is, if we had to survive in the world without our modern ways. You could do it, and the earth provides for you. And so the same is true of like finding comfort in walks and in nature and seeing beauty, and maybe kind of getting a little bit out of that status and materialism and taking a break and kind of reconnecting to what's true and real and important here. You got the chickadee card. The time is right to release old patterns and energies. You are ready to embrace change. So it's really wanting you to be like that chickadee, which flits about, has a great happy tune. Chickadees are very happy. They're very open and friendly birds. They really love to you know, they are changeable and mutable and fun and interested. They're very much like a Gemini energy, happy. And it's like time to release these old patterns of the way you're thinking about things that keep you stuck in prisons. What other card wants to come up for Capricorn? So you got the Wren. Be bold and confident. Use all of your resources to create your dreams. This card is simultaneously about realizing all the resources within you that you have, all the gifts and talents and abilities that you do have. Instead of bracing and fretting and overthinking, moment to moment, use everything at your disposal of your own inner gifts, knowledge, resourcefulness, abilities to do the thing as needed in the moment. Face the challenge as it's needed. You can do this. You have it inside of you. You're so smart. You are so strong and have so much knowledge. It's time to put that knowledge into experiential reality and use, and to think well about yourself. Don't let the patriarchal masculine have quarter in your own mind, putting you down, pushing you to grind, all of that. Don't let that be there. And I'm sending you so much love, Capricorn. Throw a like down this video. Really appreciate it. If you subscribe, you'll be notified when the next video comes out. And if you want to join us for Healing to the Zodiac, my online women's retreat, come join us. You can join us at empoweredwomenrise.com by clicking the banner at the top. That's empoweredwomenrise.com. You can find out more. Sending you lots of love. Until next time. Aquarius, Pluto and Mars and Venus all in your first house. You have the Sun, Neptune, and Saturn in Pisces in your second house of money and self-value and Maslow's hierarchy of needs, of building and growing, of procreative and fun, of sensuality and sexuality. Mercury is here, the ruler of this full moon in Virgo, about discernment and service and humility. While Mercury is in this, applying conjunction to Fomalhaut, all about that sacred feminine energy and that humility and wisdom. And this Virgo, the sign of being in service, of improving upon, in your 8th house of the mystical, 8th house of psychology, of the subconscious, of the dance between the ego and the soul, of the dark and the light, of going deep into the underworld and rebirthing, of overcoming our obstacles and our blocks. So what are the blocks and obstacles that you have overcome or that you are working on right now? This full moon is illuminating much. Could be an overanalyzing. Let that go for the healing to rise up, because this is a healing moon. This is a reclamation of our imagination about your prosperity, your money, about what you want to create in this world, really valuing yourself. Don't give any thoughts quarter that don't value you. You had this Chiron North Node conjunction in Aries in your 3rd house of mind, perceiving, how you understand, how you think about yourself, what thoughts you allow to inhabit your mind. And that happened on the 19th. And there should be some rebirth that you are aware of at this moment. You should have some new direction forward that you are going in related to this. And the ruler of your one of the rulers of your sign, Saturn, is in Pisces in that 2nd house. So you could feel like there's a restriction on your money and material possessions and building and growing, but Saturn doesn't restrict for no reason. It titrates to build new structures to get you to see what you are not seeing, to be more aligned in soul, out of the ego and the status and the proving. Saturn wants to catalyze something greater and something that's connected to soul, especially in Pisces. So really look to that when there's challenges and understand why they are. The other ruler of your sign is Uranus in the 4th house in Taurus. With trines to Juno and Black Moon Lilith and Virgo. Juno about relationships and where we're often towing the patriarchal line, and Lilith that it's all about equality in relationships and is willing to be demonized, to be outcast, to be hurt, and to lose what is hers, to stand up and say, no, if you are not going to treat me well, if you're not going to have equality in relationships, then you don't get access to me, you don't get to have me, and it's okay that you might be an abuser, be abusing and doing those things. Really important. Uranus is about individuation and wanting you to individuate from old family ways that are holding you back and keeping you stuck, old ways of the mother tribe, of that lineage. And also, and this is different for everyone, so but this is very much about old emotional coping mechanisms that are holding you back, that aren't healthy, and that aren't giving you actual inner security, but rather are just keeping you playing safe instead of actually playing large, bringing your light, shining your light into this world, bringing your brilliance forward. So it's time to shine. Thank you for throwing a like down on this video, Aquarius. Let's pull you some cards. You got the Finch. New opportunities and choices are opening to you now. Claim them. So it's wanting you to act upon what is coming to you and take action. Don't delay. Don't procrastinate. See the magic that's coming to you. See the opportunity that's happening. It's wanting you to open your eyes all to all the good and stop narrating things in a negative way. It's really important. You got the card, the Eagle. You are learning all aspects of spiritual connection and researching and reaching new heights. The Eagle is about seeing the finest details and the highest view, the whole picture, being able to see everything around it in all directions while also seeing the tiny mouse, the tiny details of the situation. So it's wanting you to realize that you're learning the aspects of spiritual connection, meaning the connection to you and your guides, you in the spiritual realm, you in the invisible realm, that sometimes it takes a lot for our psyches to, our ego to break open to that spiritual world when we've been conditioned into the soulless, mechanistic, materialistic world. And it's wanting you to reach new heights, like believe in what you're capable of, believe in your goals, have positive belief. It's wanting you to see what's possible and what you're capable of, to believe in your goals. You got the White Swan, the power of the divine grace is within you. This message is really big about connecting to the divine, remembering the spiritual nature. It's wanting you to understand that high, buzzy Aquarian energy. We had all that Aquarius energy. I listened to part 1, that it can be so in the mind, too much in the mind, and really missing out and like disconnecting from the spirit, because that electric mental air energy of Aquarius, it can just be so cerebral, so complex, so particular, and really missing out on the ethereal quality of air and the messages and signals, the transmission, receiving and offering, allowing it to come through you and to be connected. So there's a huge message here about reconnecting in to that spiritual energy, reconnecting to something sacred and meaningful, getting out of your head and all those thoughts and out of that too cerebral energy. Sending you so much love, Aquarius. If you want to come dive deep into your personal astrology in my online women's retreat, Healing to the Zodiac, you can find out more or sign up at empoweredwomenrise.com, or the link is below. Thank you for throwing a like down this video. If you subscribe, you'll be notified when the next video comes out. Appreciate you being here, Aquarius. All right, Pisces. all of this Pisces energy in your first house, Neptune, Sun, Saturn here for a while, this could feel like a restriction of you being seen in the world. This could feel like a restriction of who you are, but Saturn isn't here to do us harm. Saturn is catalyzing. So Saturn, you know, depending on if you're Pisces rising, depending on where it hit your rising, it may have sat on your rising for a while, retrograding there. It may not have reached your rising yet and be in your 12th house in your natal birth chart. But Saturn, it's this ending and beginning. It's this catalyzing of a new identity, and it is something new birthing in your character, in your appearance, in your self-modification, in your identification, like literally or metaphorically within your own being. And anything that it's restricting is for a purpose. It's because old structures need to break down for new structures to be built. So it can feel like such a it can feel like a depression though, because it's just not this Jupiter expansion and fun, but it's something important. It's always about getting realigned to some deeper meaning and truth. It's not for this horrible reason. Mercury here ruling this full moon in your 7th house of relationships. There's something being illuminated here. There's something that you have come to know. What are you aware of in relationships that you weren't before? There's something about discernment in relationships, understanding truth from falsehood. There's some healing happening here in relationships. There's a lot of energy in Virgo right now about healing relationships. There's all of these relationships goddesses, Juno and Black Moon Lilith, in the sign of healing and being of service to others, humility, of improvement in this area of your life. 7th house is also a completion. So this could be a real beautiful completion of a cycle that is now done, or a great journey you've been on with this relationship area of your life that is finally coming to fruition. So this is a time of like completion as in fruition, and getting beautiful things happening and getting movement where there was stagnation. So really beautiful. Mercury ruling this full moon in your first, conjuncting full moon here, the sacred feminine energy infusing the planet, suffusing this full moon, and really wanting to come in and bring that humility, remind us of humility, remind us of leading with humility, being in the world with humility, being that example of that high spiritual wisdom that comes not from hubris, but from humility. How that is the greatest example, because humility is not weak. It's very, very strong and wise and knowing, but it doesn't have to prove itself and dominate others. It is power with and power from within rather than power over. It's not that dominator model. The ruler of your sign, Neptune, is at home in Pisces, teaching the collective and you in this identity, your ego personality, truth from falsehood, truth from falsehood, truth from falsehood. Since 2012, you've been learning deep lessons with your ego personality and the wounding that could take place in the and the damaged ego or wounded ego about truth and falsehood. And you've been learning those lessons. And this is the last full year of Neptune and Pisces here in your first house. 2025, Neptune will go in and out, phase in and out of Pisces and Aries, moving into that second house. And then Neptune will finally have that Saturn Neptune conjunction in Aries in 2026. And both planets will have been doing this dance for a while and be in your second house in Aries, a new beginning. Pisces is an ending, it's a cycle complete. And so it's beautiful that Aries is your Second house is your new beginning energy, where things begin for you. They begin with beauty, they begin with money, they begin with stability and home, they begin with your own self-value, Pisces. The other ruler of your sign, Jupiter in Taurus, has this square to Venus in Aquarius in your 12th house, individuating from past lives. So it is you liberating yourself from past life patterns and dynamics and all of the healing journey that that takes. If you've been wanting to go on that healing journey, if you want to know exactly how to do that, the exact methods and processes how to do that, it's exactly what I help women to do. And you can book a free discovery call at empoweredwomenrise.com. I do that in my 6-month coaching program with women. I help women heal from past life patterns that are playing out in this life and blocking them and inhibiting them and you know, causing problems when they're trying to reach their goals and turn their dreams into reality. And we make your dreams into reality. Do you want to help the world, create more visibility, create more revenue in your business? So this is this liberation from past life patterns and evil people. So this is this Jupiter Venus square, third house, your mind. You know, there's a part of the square of the learned helplessness. Learned helplessness is a particular kind of evil because it makes you give up on yourself. And so it's kind of like the elephant, the baby elephant that's chained. When the elephant grows up, it doesn't know that it's powerful enough to break the chain. It couldn't break it as a baby, but as an adult, it can just break the chain and be free and liberated. And so this is that square of Jupiter to Venus saying that you got to break that chain in your mind. And there's some huge beliefs and shifts. I teach my clients how to reprogram their subconscious beliefs because you can't do that with your conscious mind. In 3 days to 2 weeks, incredibly powerful. It just becomes your truth. The new belief just becomes your truth and deprograms the old belief. And it's just, you know, why make things harder? I only deal in effective techniques, and also if they can be quick, all the greater. And so Jupiter here, you know, this expansion of possibilities, your intellectual property, you being, you know, individuating here. This is individuation and freedom here, co-present with Uranus. This is so much about, and Venus is going to hit that Uranus square as well, I think March 3rd, and Mars too. So you know, your ruler of your sign is going to get that square to Venus right now later in the day from this full moon, and then we'll get that Uranus square, I believe March 3rd, and then Mars will square Jupiter, one of the rulers of your sign. And Mars is that energy of catalyzing, taking action. Jupiter is having faith and belief and believing in possibilities. And so that square can really be this breaking free of stagnation. I think for many Pisces, this is finally going to break you out of stagnation, of you know, holdover, of being stuck. So there is flow and momentum and just a lot of, with Uranus there, lightning quick breakthroughs and changes and things happening. So be prepared, be ready to adapt, trust the process, connect to the divine, connect to your guides. Sending you so much love, Pisces. Let's pull you some cards. Throw a like down this video. I really appreciate it. It takes me about 2 hours to do these sun sign horoscopes. What did it take today? Some amount of time. All right, you got the card Pheasant. So the time is right for creation and connection. Focus your attention in these areas. So this, you know, the cards don't come up haphazardly or willy-nilly. This is really wanting you to realize that connection is how you create clients. Connection is how you create friendships, soulmate relationships. Relationships are how you find things in the world, or come across information, or learn about this idea, or are intellectually stimulated, or have nurturing, intimate, you know, connections with other humans. Connection is everything, you know, it's huge. And it's where you can see your own value, because you are offering your value through what you know and sharing your knowledge and sharing your information and teaching others. So it's also where you get to see your own value so palpably, so beautifully. Also creation, you know, creating your dreams into reality, making the content, making the course, writing the book, painting, doing the thing that you're meant to do, Pisces. That you gotta take focus on creating it, doing it, putting it into action. This card is wanting you to focus on those areas. I love like kind of the way they drew that pheasant. What else wants to come forward for Pisces? There's a momentum happening right now. So my guides want me to really express it. There's a momentum. There's a time at this moment to capitalize on that's going to move you forward if you capitalize on it. The peacock feather came up. Inherent wisdom is emerging at this time. Watch it and ready yourself for a rebirth. So what have I been saying in your reading? So powerful here. What is happening? This is asking you to be aware, be conscious. Don't do that Pisces escapism, check out, go into fantasy dreaming land, but be present, inhabit your world, your body, your intuition, your brain, like inhabit your life, be here now, really be present, and not as a platitude, but seriously, there's something really beautiful happening here. Inherent wisdom. This is your right. This is your divine right to inherent wisdom, to the wisdom that is yours from going through pain, loss, and challenge, the wisdom that is yours from going through the healing process. Part 1 is really good. There's some really amazing gems in there and jewels that channeled through for everyone today. I hope you listen to that. Go back and check that out. You got the Falcon card. Use your keen perception and skill in making decisions. Do not delay. So it's wanting you to use your intuition, your instinct. Instinct is your body. Intuition is your inner knowing. And it's wanting you to listen to that. It's a yes, no. It doesn't deliberate and calculate and tabulate and be in the mind. And it doesn't question what it already understood. So if you got that answer today, and then tomorrow you find yourself like asking and wanting to ask friends and talk it out and everything, you're not following your intuition that knows. You have to start teaching your mind to trust your intuition. And that means connecting up that you got the intuition, you knew it in that moment, there was zero doubt. And now you have to tell your mind to stop it. And that we already know, we're trusting this. And I have an exercise I teach my clients to develop that. And it's also really got this powerful message of do not delay, take action, capitalize on this energy. You know, it's a very clear message for you, Pisces. Focus on what's channeling through you to be created right now. Focus on connecting to other humans. Watch what's emerging. You're in a rebirth right now. It's all okay. And, you know, that rebirth, it's contractions, it's birthing pains. And make the decisions using your intuition, listen and go. Let's pull you one more card, Pisces. Love the reading for you, Pisces. You got the growl, so I'll show you the bird on the other side in a minute because it's so funny, it's so cute. So embrace the power of dance and movement to access your highest guidance. Such a Pisces thing too. So depending on where you have your Pisces placements in your chart, this might not be easy for you actually, or this might be very natural to you, but embrace the power of dance and movement to access your highest guidance. When you move, your mind can think freely and downloads come in. So it's wanting you to pay attention when you're doing movement and activities like that, but it's wanting you to purposely like do it, have your notebook ready, pay attention to what's coming through. And here's the grouse on the other side. Throw a like down this video, Pisces. Really appreciate you. Make sure that you come sign up or find out more about Healing Through the Zodiac, my online women's retreat. So powerful. I'm sending you lots of love. Appreciate you being here. If you subscribe, you'll find out when new videos come out, and sending everyone lots of love.